Sengoku looked at Akainu in front of him with a headache. Akainu's efficiency is indeed fast. After only a long time, he killed the 9 snakes and pirates, and also captured the remaining pirates, including the pirate empress. Come over. His headache was that he asked Akainu to negotiate with the 9 snakes and pirates, but Akainu didn't talk about it, and directly defeated the 9 snakes and pirates by force, leaving no room at all. The method was too ruthless. For those big people, they all know what Shichibukai means, but for ordinary people, they heard that Shichibukai is an organization established by the world government, and they think they are good people. Especially Crocodile is a very smart person, plus Upper Alabasta happened to be located in the desert. Under his plan, he easily took root in Alabasta and was trusted by ordinary people. Boa Hancock is not the Doflamingo of the year, and the Celestial Dragons and 5 elders who wanted to play Doflamingo were Celestial Dragons and 5 elders. As far as Sengoku himself was concerned, of course he didn't want to, but his arms couldn't twist his thighs. Sengoku thought about it for a while, and then said, I decided to send them to Impelden. After Boa Hancock was imprisoned in Impel Down, the daughter nation of the fighting nation of Hydra Island immediately sent people to the naval headquarters to negotiate with Sengoku, but Sengoku was hard to come by this time. No matter what the request of Hydra Island, he did not agree. Sakazuki, you did a great job this time. The 9 snakes and pirates have troubled us for so long. As a result, you caught them all as soon as you got out of the horse. You did a good job. What do you have in dealing with their problems? Idea. Akainu replied without hesitation. You can deal with what you should do. With what the 9 snakes and pirates have done in the past, even if you kill them all, it is not an exaggeration. My proposal is to execute them all. Akainu frowned slightly. He felt that Sengoku sometimes thinks too much. 9 Snake Island is indeed an ancient race, but how powerful can they be if they can only be huddled together? If he didn't dare to kill because of this, he really couldn't agree with it. In his opinion, if the people on 9 Snake Island were good, if they weren't, it would be better to kill them together. I heard that your Ohara was killed by Marine's Buster Call. Are you nervous when you hear the name Akainu? It turned out that such a person was still defeated by Akainu and imprisoned in Impel Down. This event really shocked a large group of people. The pirates of the Grand Line instantly died down and never dared to make their heads. To her, Akainu is the most terrifying man in the world, and her fear of world government is not as strong as Akainu. Akainu was taken aback. He thought that Sengoku would make the same decision as Doflamingo before, letting go of Boa Hancock. At this time, he heard that he was going to lock them up. Although it was a little bit worse than what he thought, this is the case. Not bad, at least they will not be allowed to do evil in the outside world. But this time it was different. In short, things remained the same in the end, and the Pirate Empress group was still locked in Impel Down. After this incident, a huge disturbance was immediately set off on the Grand Line, because the pirates of the 9 Snakes are not ordinary pirates, but can fight 7 warlords of the sea Hayward undefeated. Especially the Captain Boa Hancock is a great pirate, and the most beautiful woman in the sea. Alabasta. Knowing it would be this kind of answer, Sengoku's headache was even worse. He said, the 9 snakes and pirates are different. Behind them is the ancient 9 snakes. Although the power of that clan is not as good as in the past, it was not easy to deal with. If their female emperors were executed, it would definitely arouse their resistance, which would not be a good thing for the stability of the world structure. Crocodile, who had been watching him all the time, noticed his strangeness, so he was surprised and asked, it seems that you have dealt with Akainu. This guy should have left you a big psychological shadow, right? Robin didn't deny it either, just took a breath, and said, that guy is not a normal person at all. Boss, if I were you, I would definitely not be interested in him, because he is really terrifying. Akainu, who is far away in naval headquarters, suddenly received 500 fear points from Nicole Luobing, and was surprised. I don't know why Robin feared him again. You must know that he has not received Robin's fear points for several years. Ends. Crocodile was lying on the chair, tapping his legs on the desk, smoking a cigar, and smilingly asked Robin in front of him. Hearing Crocodile's words, Robin couldn't help but think of the man's face that she had never dared to remember, and his whole body trembled unconsciously. If it's the identity of a pirate before, it's certainly not so easy for him to enter Alabasta to find Pluton, but with the identity of 7 warlords of the sea, it's different. He has developed his power in the past few years and brought his own after the person came to Alabasta. He immediately used Shichibukai's identity to enter Alabasta. Because although the world government has been looking for her all the time, it has caused her a lot of trouble and caused her to experience a lot of things that she can't imagine, but even so, it is not as strong as the fear that Akainu caused to her in the first place. Akainu caused her. The fear was already in her heart, and she felt that she would never forget it for the rest of her life. Compared with the girl of the year, Robin has grown into a big beauty at this time, with bright black hair, special red and black pupils, slender figure, and a refined and dry female secretary form. It's okay if you haven't caught it. Since it has been caught, if you were forced to release by the people of the Nine Snake Island clan, then does Marine's face still need it? Regarding the contradiction between Akainu and Sengoku, except for some people in naval headquarters, people outside actually don't know what's going on. It's just that Akainu hasn't appeared on the Grand Line for 5 years, and many people think he is hiding. What a big thing was done in naval headquarters. I didn't expect that after 5 years, Akainu appeared again and really did a big thing. When he was chased by the Whitebeard pirates, he ran into Lasana by accident. They fought for a few days, and finally became 7 warlords of the sea by accident. Since then, he has been looking for it. The method that can defeat Whitebeard, avenge the revenge of the year. Crocodile needs someone who understands historical writing, and Nico Robin needs a place to live. So after the two met, they hit it off and immediately reached a consensus and decided to cooperate. Sengoku's actions were still very fast. After the decision was made, he immediately launched an action, sending Boa Hancock and others to the deep-sea prison Impel Down, and the pirate lady Boa Hancock was directly imprisoned because of the serious threat. Eternal hell on the 6th floor of Down. Then what are you going to do with it? Akainu asked. Crocodile, one of the 7 warlords of the sea disclosed by the world government, was in Alabasta at this time. Akainu, who appeared on the Grand Line again after 5 years, established his position in just one battle and reminded people of how overbearing and invincible he was when he dominated the sea. At this time, Nico Robin just couldn't stay in West Blue, and came to the first half of the Grand Line. In order to be able to find Pluton, Crocodile deliberately found Nico Robin, the remnant of the old Ohara, because according to his understanding, to crack Pluton's secrets, he must understand the historical text. He does not understand and can only find people who understand. It took him several years to finally get a piece of useful information. In Alabasta, there is one of the legendary 3 ancient weapons, Pluton. It is said that the 3 ancient weapons all possess the power to destroy the world. So he wanted to get Pluton, so he came to Alabasta. Oh? Is that guy really as scary as you said? The more Robin said this, the more interested Crocodile became. In fact, he and Akainu also met, only once from a distance, but he and Akainu's disciple Lasana are more familiar. People have teamed up against the enemy. He remembered that Lasana mentioned it to him once, saying that she was Akainu's disciple, and the one she admired most was Akainu, but he didn't get much information about Akainu from Lasana, and later it was from other people. Inquired from the mouth. Originally, he didn't have much interest in Akainu, but this time Akainu made a big noise, and Robin seemed to be very scared of Akainu, so he became interested and wanted to hear Robin's evaluation. When Akainu was mentioned, Robin's expression was always very nervous. At this moment, she said, "He is not a human at all. He is a devil." At the beginning, O'Hara's lifeboat had obviously left, but he was cruelly bombarded by him. The people have died tragically, but he didn't even have any sympathy. He was the coldest and most terrifying person I had ever seen. If I could, I would never want to see him again in my life. She really didn't want to see Akainu again, because Akainu only brought her fear. Crocodile showed a meaningful smile and said with a low voice, "I am really interested in this guy, because he is an unbeaten man who can challenge Whitebeard. Of course, I am still far away from him, but wait, after I have completed my goal, I must find a chance to meet this man and see how powerful he is." When Robin saw Crocodile, he didn't show any expression on the surface, but he was very disdainful in his heart. He admitted that Crocodile was a human being, but compared to Akainu, it was really far away. There are many people like Crocodile in the world. They are all very interested in the strength of Akainu, but there are very few people who really dare to have ideas about Akainu. After all, Akainu's record is obvious to all, and the whole world is qualified. There are really few people who are his opponents. Dressrosa. Doflamingo looked gloomy and listened to the information he was narrating, especially when he talked about Akainu. His face was even more angry. He had never forgotten the hatred 5 years ago. If it weren't for Akainu, he would never have been Marine caught it, and finally sacrificed a huge profit in order to be released. Akainu, this guy, I didn't expect to be so arrogant. Sengoku is really useless. Others don't know the contradiction between Sengoku and Akainu, but Doflamingo has many sources of intelligence. Naturally, the contradiction between Akainu and Sengoku has been investigated. Even if Akainu was forced to stay in North Blue for 5 years, he knew exactly what happened. Only 5 years later, Akainu jumped out, which made him very unhappy, and he couldn't help but remember the scene of being beaten by Akainu. He had only suffered such a big loss under Akainu after his debut for so many years. Toripal looked at each other, and they all saw helplessness in each other's eyes. They had been subdued by Akainu a few years ago. Of course, they are not completely subdued, because they have been subdued so far. It just conveyed some irrelevant information to Akainu, the most confidential content of the Don Quixote family. they were all tacitly unreported. In fact, the four of them still hold a glimmer of hope in their hearts, looking forward to Doflamingo's rise. If Doflamingo can compete with Akainu, they don't need to be such a traitor. But so far, although Doflamingo has been improving, the gap to Akainu has not shrunk much. Perhaps Akainu is now subject to Sengoku's suspicion, and their full power in Marine is limited, but they are more aware of this. In the world, individual power can often determine many things. Among the four, the one who is most loyal to Akainu is probably Virgo, but he doesn't want to be too obvious, plus he has Akainu's order to tell him not to act rashly, so he has always maintained his previous style, like others. 3 people have an attitude. Dover, are you sure you can deal with Akainu now? Torpal asked Doflamingo expectantly. Doflamingo's complexion stagnated. Although he wanted to answer in the affirmative, he knew in his heart that he was still not Akainu's opponent, and Torpal was not a fool. He could tell if he lied. It's almost there now, but as long as I have enough time, I will definitely be able to beat him. Hearing Doflamingo's answer, Torpal's faces were all helpless. How long is enough time? We are willing to give you time, but the point is that Akainu doesn't give us time. Who knows when he will give the order? Should we turn our faces at that time, or should we not turn our faces? Naturally, Doflamingo didn't know the thoughts of the 4 top cadres under his command, and it was impossible to know that the 4 top cadres he trusted the most had betrayed him, and he was still immersed in his own thoughts. The top priority now is not to manage Akainu's affairs, but to completely control Dressrosa in our hands. Although we have control of the royal city, there are still forces that oppose us in this country, and these rebellious forces must be completely destroyed as soon as possible. Get rid of it. They came to Dressrosa a year ago and used insidious means to get the throne of Dressrosa. During this year, they have been eradicating the forces that oppose them, but they still haven't eradicated them. Torpal said. Dover, you can rest assured that we have arranged enough manpower to find it, but it will take a certain amount of time. At that time, as long as we use the ability of sugar, we can easily control the entire country. Doflamingo said bitterly. It's all to blame Akainu. We have planned carefully in North Blue for so many years, but he alone destroyed most of our forces. If not that time, how could we be as passive as we are now? I already control this country. The last time Don Quixote family was caught off guard by Akainu, many pirates died in Marine's hands. In addition, Akainu's encirclement and suppression of North Blue later killed many members of their family. Even Doflamingo used his abilities to kill the cadres who had been arrested with him were rescued, but everything had to be started from scratch again, which made him naturally very unhappy. Virgo said. Although it's a bit longer now, as long as we step by step, we will soon be able to reach the goal. Dover, you have to stabilize your emotions and don't be easily disturbed. New World is now the pirate 4 emperors. In the world, we must take control of Dressrosa as soon as possible, and use this as a springboard to slowly erode the New World, so what you need is prudent, and you can't go wrong with one step. Doflamingo nodded. He still trusts Virgo very much, because in the whole family, Virgo's strength is second only to him, because he was once arranged to act as an undercover agent in Marine, so when an accident happened last time, Marine was unwilling to let him go, and in the end Doflamingo paid a certain price to rescue Virgo. Since solving the problem of the 9 snakes and pirates, Akainu has resumed the quiet days before. Sengoku did not order him to do anything, and did not send him to do tasks, so he stayed at naval headquarters peacefully, and Akainu also I didn't care or worry, so I stayed calmly in the headquarters. In a blink of an eye, another 3 years have passed. In these 3 years, Akainu has not left Marineford one step. If this is said, many people will not believe it, but this is indeed a fact. During this period of time, in addition to practicing with great concentration, Akainu often went to Zephyr to help Zephyr train recruits, and the purpose of doing so was naturally to obtain fear points. So in the past 3 years, although he has not obtained a lot of fear points when he did not catch the pirates, he has also gained a lot of fear points. Since a few years ago, Akainu's fear value has never been used again, but has been kept. He is still hesitating whether to go to the lottery draw or to buy items. In the past few years, nothing much has happened in the world. The Grand Line is relatively stable. It's just that some pirates keep jumping out, but generally speaking, it is calm. Naval Headquarters, Marshal's office. Sengoku walked back and forth in the office angrily. While walking, he said, "This kind of thing can happen, Portgas d'Ace." At the beginning, Naval Headquarters in the world government spent so much force, constantly investigating and searching. It even took the lives of several people from CP0, but was eventually run away by Roger's blood. Up to now, this bloodline heir has finally appeared. This is the bloodline of Roger, the One Piece King. We must not sit idly by. We must solve him before he grows up. While speaking, Sengoku kept staring at Garp and saw that Garp had been indifferent. He suddenly said angrily, "Garp, When you were pursuing Roger's bloodline, you were on the scene. Now that he has reappeared, you have to be responsible. Garp suddenly said with a look of astonishment. What's the matter with me? I was there, but at that time the host was Sakazuki. Even if you find the person in charge, you should also go to Sakazuki. Furthermore, the information was provided by CP0. In the end, they acted privately after discovering the target, which resulted in such a situation. If they didn't want to steal the credit at the time, they took me and Sakazuki to go with them. There will be others. Things happen. Sengoku's complexion was gloomy. He was not there at the time, so he didn't know exactly what was going on, but he always thought it was very strange. Why was it so coincidental? When CP0 found the target, the remnants of Roger pirates appeared. If they had known it for a long time, why didn't they move people away earlier, but only after they found out? But no matter how puzzled he was, several people in CP0 were dead at the time. The importance of Roger's bloodline is unquestionable. This Fire Fist ace has already reached the Grand Line. If he is allowed to continue like this, it may not reach Roger's level in the future, so we must not sit idly by. We must have action. When Sengoku was talking, Garp was also depressed. He was naturally responsible for raising Ace. However, unlike in the anime, he transferred Portgas de Rouge earlier, so Rouge was not like in the anime. He died after giving birth, but Ace, who was 12 months pregnant, and lived for 5 years before he died. So, unlike in the anime, Ace still enjoyed the relationship between mother and child for several years before being adopted by Garp, but even with Garp's childhood education, he still embarked on his father's old path and decided to be a pirate. A few months ago, Ace set off from East Blue, swept the entire East Blue pirate world with extremely fast speed and power, became one of the best pirates in East Blue, and then rushed into the Grand Line and quickly started fame. And Sengoku started to notice Ace not long after he became famous, because he was very concerned about the D-clan. At the beginning, he just thought that Ace was the D-clan, but with his careful and in-depth investigation, he unexpectedly discovered the amazing truth. Portgas de Ace turned out to be the son of the late One Piece Roger. When he realized this, he was immediately ready to start the action, but Ace has already been named, and his strength is considered to be a very outstanding pirate supernova, and it is really difficult for ordinary people to catch him. You are right. Sakazuki is indeed responsible for this matter. Since he was responsible at the beginning, I will leave it to him this time. I'm going to let Sakazuki hunt down this Roger's son. What do you think? Sengoku asked Garp Road. When Garp heard this, his heart suddenly burst. Although his relationship with Akainu is not as strong as that of Sengoku, after all, he has been dealing with Akainu for many years and has also learned from each other many times, so he knows Akainu's strength very well. Ace may be very good under his guidance, but after all, he is still very young and cannot be compared with Akainu. If Akainu were to arrest Ace, he would not dare to imagine the result with Akainu's character. So Garp said, Sakazuki is Marine Admiral. No matter how good this Roger's bloodline is, he is only a rookie after all. Let Sakazuki, Marine Admiral, hunt down a pirate supernova. Isn't it a bit too big and underused? Sengoku said, it's a little overkill, but it happens that Sakazuki has nothing else to do. Roger's bloodline may still be growing now, but it will definitely be very strong in the future. So for the future, let Sakazuki hunt down the Fire Fist, Ace. A good choice is either not to do it, and it must be completely eradicated once it is done. Seeing Sengoku's resolute attitude, Garp felt even more anxious, and he said again, Sengoku, in fact, I think you can think about it in another way. Why you must get rid of him, if he can be used for us, is it brought better effect? Sengoku was taken aback, looked at Garp in surprise, and asked, what do you mean by this? Garp said carelessly, we can recruit him into 7 warlords of the sea and let him use it for us. Sengoku's eyes lit up and said, this is a good idea. But after speaking, he immediately shook his head and said, it's still impossible. He is Roger's son. How could he be used by us? And the places for 7 warlords of the sea are all ready. Garp said, how can you know the result if you haven't tried it? What's more, the locations of 7 warlords of the sea are not all the same. It's not that we have the final say, even if they are all, but if one of them disappears suddenly, it is not a vacancy. A position? After he finished speaking, he suddenly noticed that Sengoku was looking at him with a strange look, and he suddenly burst into his heart and asked, Sengoku, what are your eyes? Sengoku said, I found that you were a little concerned about Roger's blood, and one after another suggested to me not to kill him, so I have to doubt it. Garp was nervous, but on the outside, he pretended to be injured, and cried out strangely, Sengoku, do you doubt me? Sengoku said, I am not suspicious of you, but your behavior today is indeed different from the past. Garp said, obviously you asked me first. I told you what I thought, but it aroused your suspicion. Okay, then I won't say anything, just do what you say. But there's a little bit I still want to advise you. Since you became Martial Marine, this suspicion has become a lot worse. You always doubt this and that. Now even I doubt it, and I will not dare to tell the truth in front of you in the future. Ends. Although he did have a ghost in his heart, Sengoku suspected him and still made him dissatisfied. Of course, with their years of friendship, this dissatisfaction was only a momentary emotion, and he was not really angry. Looking at Garp, who was dissatisfied, Sengoku couldn't help it. He immediately waved his hand and said, "Okay, don't mess around here, I don't have time to talk nonsense with you." He didn't bother with Garp, who was juggling his temper, and asked him to find Akainu. After Akainu arrived, he found that both Sengoku and Garp's faces were not good looking, and he was immediately surprised, not knowing what happened to the two of them. Akainu said solemnly, "Roger's offspring have appeared?" Pretending to be a bit like. Before that incident happened between him and Sengoku, although they didn't deal with each other, they got along well with each other, but after that incident, Sengoku changed completely and was not at all polite to him. Now, a little bit. Don't respect him. After speaking, he shook off Garp's hand, turned and left, as he said, he couldn't change his principles just for Garp. Akainu replied unceremoniously, "Not very well. It is not his fault to be Roger's son, but the fault lies in that he also became a pirate. Ordinary pirates are evil, and Roger's son became a pirate. It's a sinful sin, and you can't let it go easily. It's best to kill him before he grows. Sakazuki, I'm calling you here. I have an important task entrusted to you. Do you remember when you arrested Roger's bloodline?" After Sengoku saw Akainu, there was no nonsense, and he directly stated his purpose. Garp looked guilty and whispered, "I know this matter is my responsibility. At the beginning, you put their mother and son on my face, but I didn't teach him well and let him go to him. Father's old way, if you have any dissatisfaction, you can vent to me, but I just want to ask you one thing, don't hurt his life. This is my plea as a grandfather." Akainu stopped, looked at Garp, and said, "I know what you were going to say, but this is the end. What you say is useless, and I won't change my mind." "You mean, let me kill him?" Sengoku said, "Yes, a very good young pirate appeared in the sea recently, Firefist, a pirate supernova who has been ranked in recent years. His name is Portgas d'Ace, but his surname follows his mother. In fact, he is the only blood of Roger in this world." Garp suddenly reached out and caught Akainu, but Akainu said solemnly, "Garp Vice Admiral, you have to remember your identity. You are the Marine hero Vice Admiral first, and then his grandfather, even if we are on good terms. It is impossible for me to change this kind of principled issue. As long as I meet him, I will do my best to get rid of him." Fire Fist. Portgas d'Ace. Sengoku's attitude chilled Akainu, and at the same time it made him firmer. Martial Marine was able to get it. Since Sengoku has been so rude to him, he doesn't need to be loyal to Sengoku. Akainu cursed secretly in his heart. This guy was really unreliable. He had warned him before, but it still happened. He didn't understand when he was raised. What else could he do? Akainu said, "If there are no accidents, I think there should be no problem at all." Sengoku nodded and said, "I will leave this to you, are you sure?" After leaving Sengoku's office, Akainu sneered disdainfully. During this period of time, he acted low-key. Sengoku really treated him as if he was coming and going. If he needed him, he would be called instead of him. Regardless of him, even the basic respect is gone. It seems that he is determined not to oppose him. Akainu looked at Garp seriously, but finally shook his head and said, "I'm sorry, I can't promise you this condition." Sakazuki. Akainu said, "I understand." Against a pirate of spades, Akainu was not ready to make a big move, he just had to go out alone, because the pirates of spades seemed to have no other stakeholders except their captain, Ace. At this point, Ace is actually not comparable to his brother Luffy. Thinking of this, he couldn't help looking at Garp, who was aside, but Garp seemed very calm, just sitting there, facing Akainu's gaze, without giving any response. After receiving the mission, Akainu did not immediately start the operation, but first began to collect information on Ace's pirates of spades. After all, the Grand Line is so big, it is not so easy to find a small pirates of spades. They are not as high profile as the previous 9 snakes and pirates. Basically, they don't fight with Marine. They run when they see Marine, so it is not easy to determine the location. Okay, it should not be too late. You immediately take someone to bring the Fire Fist, Ace back. If you can't bring it back, you don't have to bring it back. He hadn't gone far when Garp followed him, Sakazuki. Sengoku said, "If you can, kill him. Roger's bloodline must not be easily let go." Garp just said let him join Shichibukai. What do you think of this decision? Sengoku's meaning is very clear. If he can be brought back alive, he will be brought back. If he can't be brought back alive, he will be killed directly. Hearing Sengoku's words, Akainu's heart suddenly moved, and he faintly guessed. Akainu's eyes are shining brightly. He is cultivating with great concentration this time, so he doesn't know much about what's happening on the ocean, and he doesn't know that Fire Fist Ace has appeared. The appearance of Ace makes him know that the plot is not so easy to change. Even if he asked Garp to take away Ace's mother and son, the final result has not changed. Ace still embarked on the road of pirates. Garp stared at Akainu, leaving with a complicated expression, but he didn't blame Akainu either. After all, Akainu was able to let Ace's mother and son go, which surprised him. Now it is definitely impossible to let Ace go again. Sengoku said, "Just remember, you didn't capture Roger's bloodline at the beginning. Although it was not your responsibility, you still have to take part of the responsibility. Of course, I don't want to pursue what happened back then. The reason for mentioning this is that the Bane of the Year has already appeared. Of course, this is not the top priority now. Since Ace is still a pirate like in the anime, he can't just sit idly by. After all, he was soft-hearted at the beginning, so he let them go. Now Ace has become a pirate. He feels that he is indeed a pirate. Take responsibility. Remember. Although Sengoku doesn't quite deal with Akainu, he still trusts Akainu's strength. Ace is just a rookie pirate. Even if he has Roger's blood, he is still young and will not be Akainu's opponent at all. Sakazuki Admiral, according to the information we have, this is where the Pirates of Spades last appeared. In the cabin of the warship, a Marine Rear Admiral pointed to the map on the table and said to Akainu. Akainu nodded. He is not a professional, so he is not easy to express his opinions, and he does not want to use his own intelligence network, so he can only let Tavere and Sengoku find them by themselves. He only needs to make the last move. This is not certain. I must first go to the place where they last appeared. I also need to rely on the intelligence network of the headquarters. The specific time cannot be determined. However, as long as the Pirates of Spades appear again, I will be able to catch them as quickly as possible. Them. An equally strong man wearing a mask next to Ace said, "Ace, New World is not that simple. It is completely different from the first half of Sea High and Grand Line. If you don't have sufficient preparations, you will definitely suffer if you enter rashly." Ace laughed and said, "Marine wants to find us, but it's not that easy, and even if we meet Marine, what are we afraid of? Under my Fire Fist, as many Marines as I come, we will fight as many Marines." This Marine Rear Admiral was sent by Sengoku to assist Akainu's deputy. This man was an intelligence officer and was about the same age as Akainu. This time he was mainly responsible for helping Akainu find the whereabouts of the Pirates of Spades. Akainu looked at the pointed place on the map and asked, "Tavere, how long ago is this information?" "Half a month ago. Since Ace set off from East Blue, it has had a smooth journey and won all battles. After entering the Grand Line, it also relied on its excellent speed and Logia Devil Fruit ability to stir the situation without fail. Now the major forces on the sea. Basically I learned about this super newcomer who was rewarded 290 million Bailey by Marine. This is the super newcomer who has been making a lot of noise in the first half of the Grand Line recently, the Pirates of Spades led by Fire Fist, Portgas d'Ace. Although his strength was good, it was not enough to make him famous so quickly, but after he got Mera Mera Fruit, he quickly became famous. The origin of Fire Fist also benefited from Mera Mera Fruit. Marine? Hey, Diaz, you don't want to be ambitions and destroy yourself. What about New World? I want to become the One Piece. Isn't it something I have to do to conquer New World? Sakazuki Admiral, based on the information from the headquarters, I can already determine the next direction of the Pirates of Spades. As an intelligence officer, Tavere naturally not only collects intelligence, but also has excellent tracking and reconnaissance methods. In this regard, Akainu is naturally far behind them, so if you want to find Ace and others, you can only rely on Tavere's ability. After wandering in the sea for a full month, finally the Pirates of Spades appeared again. This time they chose a well-known pirates in the first half of the Grand Line, the name of Fire Fist, Ace. Grow up at once. As for Ace's ambition, Dios naturally knows very well, he is also attracted by Ace's charm, but he thinks more than Ace. This boy is the captain of the Pirates of Spades, and also the great pirate of Marine who is offering a reward of 290 million Pele. Portgas d'Ace. Ace looks also 17 or 18 years old at this time, with black hair and 2 cheeks. There is Madara, wearing a cowboy hat. There are 2 emblems of smile and sadness on the brim of the hat, which are related to the pattern on his pirate flag. In addition, there is also a skull and crossbones brand on the neck. A red bead necklace hung on the side. Ace, since we entered the Grand Line, we have been a bit too eye-catching. Your bounty now has reached 290 million Baileys. Marine must be staring at you. We can't care less. Akainu frowned. He was very dissatisfied. The latest information was actually half a month ago. How did this make him find someone? How long will it take you to find them? As he said, flames suddenly appeared on his fists. This was his ability, Logia Mera Mera fruit, which was able to control the flames. This was the devil fruit he got shortly after going out to sea. Tavere looked nervous. Although he was Marine Rear Admiral, he was in awe of Akainu. After all, he was not promoted by strength, but by his own special abilities, so when facing Akainu, he was naturally under great pressure. Ace patted the masked man on the shoulder of Mascud Deuce, and said loudly, Mascud Deuce was the first crew member he recruited after he went to sea. After being infected with his charm, he got on Ace's ship and formed the Pirates of Spades together with Ace. Ace is a person who loves to laugh very much. Although his birth was very miserable, he had no father before birth, no mother when he was a child, suffered a lot of sins and suffered a lot, but he is a very optimistic person, and he has been there since childhood. In order to achieve the goal, becoming the One Piece is his goal. In this way, Akainu and the others first went to the place where the Pirates of Spades last appeared. I have to say that Tavere really had a couple of times, and he really let him find the clues, and then started tracking, but the sea is too big. It's okay to say on land, but on the sea, it is really too difficult to track a ship. Captain, when shall we enter the New World? In a certain area of the sea in the first half of the Grand Line, a pirate ship was sailing. The pirate flag that fluttered in the wind had a very strange pattern. The skull had a devilish smile on the head and a spade in the background. Less than a year after going to sea, he was offered a reward of 290 million pele. Portgas de Ace is definitely the most outstanding super newcomer in recent years. It is hard not to be known. Tavere was Marine Rear Admiral who had just spoken. He replied, it was the information half a month ago. Half a month ago, the Pirates of Spades had been there to supply supplies and were found traces, but soon they leaving again. We are still investigating where exactly we have gone now. At this time, a group of pirates gathered on the board of the boat. There were a total of more than 20 people. They surrounded a young man in vest and shorts, chatting about something. After Tavere got the harvest, he immediately found Akainu excitedly and told him. Ha ha ha, New World, we will be there soon, Ace said with a laugh. After tracking on the ocean for a month, Akainu was already a little impatient. When he heard that he finally had something to gain, he immediately said, what are you waiting for, hurry over. It can be said that in addition to Ace, the Pirates of Spades has the oldest qualifications and the highest status. Captain Ace found a marine warship behind us. Suddenly, a lookout pirate ran over and eagerly told Ace. Ace and others were all taken aback. They just talked about Marine. Why did Marine really appear? Ace was even more stunned. What the hell is this Marine? Why did they really show up as soon as I talked about them? Can they hear us? What nonsense. There is no Marine branch in this sea area. Marine must be directed at us, let the brothers get ready. Mascud Deuce said that as the number 2 person in the Pirates, he is not as impulsive as Ace. He has been carefully investigated before the action, so after discovering Marine, his first feeling was to come to them. A group of pirates gathered quickly, and then went to the stern. Sure enough, they saw a warship quickly approaching them. It looked like Mascud Deuce said, it was approaching them. Ace said, although I don't want to conflict with Marine, if these people are really coming to us, I won't be polite to them, so you don't want to hurry up, I want to see who it is. Ace, who has just gone to sea, has played all the way from East Blue to the present, and has never failed, so he has a very high spirit, and he has a look that does not put anyone in his eyes. Duos said calmly, Marine is a very troublesome guy, it's better not to pester them. In an instant, a huge flame appeared, stretched out, and quickly crashed into the Marine warship. Diaz's roar awakened the rest of the pirates. They all ran in a panic. Ace was also awakened. He looked at the volcano bomb and immediately shouted, everyone, get away. Aiming at Marine's warship, Ace suddenly shouted, Fire Fist. The rest of the pirates all supported Ace and wanted to fight with Marine. Akainu looked at the flame fist that struck, and was also surprised. According to him, it has not been long for Ace to obtain Mera Mera fruit, but he has actually developed Mera Mera fruit to this level. It seems that his talent is it's really outstanding. Great eruption. Most of the shells just fell into the sea, and only a few shells could hit the hull, but they did not pose any threat. Ace shouted. In order to be able to block the volcanic bomb, he tried his best and performed his own trick. A large amount of flames suddenly erupted from his arm, forming a huge wall of flames above the pirate ship. This blocked the volcano bomb. Quickly catch up, hurry, Tavere said loudly, fire. No, go ahead. When he raised his hand, flames suddenly appeared on his fists. The flames appeared on him out of thin air, and they would not burn him. This is the ability of Logia Mera Mera fruit. After approaching the pirate ship, Tavere immediately ordered to fire on the pirate ship, and Ace on the other side saw Marine firing at them, and he did not hesitate to let his men fire. Obviously, they are so close, just within the attack range of the volcano bomb. At this time, it is impossible to sail away again, so Ace can only let his subordinates hide and not be hit by the volcano bomb. Middle. Finally met? Akainu looked at the pirate ship in the distance with cold eyes. But facing this amazing flame fist, he didn't feel a little nervous. His right hand turned into magma and blasted out with a punch. Yes, Boss Ace is right. What's so scary about Marine? Boss Ace can blow them to death with one punch. The principle of this punch is very simple, that is, Ace turns his arm into a huge flame with super high temperature, and then stretches his arm to attack the opponent with a flame punch. This punch is fast, wide in scope, and powerful and impactful. It is very strong and is the most commonly used move by Ace. He is called Fire Fist, which is derived from this boxing. The fastest reaction was not Ace, but Deuce. When Ace was still shocked that his attack was instantly defeated, Deuce had already woke up, and he immediately yelled at the crew on the ship. Tavere even exclaimed, "This is a Fire Fist attack. He is a Logia Mera Mera fruit-capable person. If he is hit by a warship, it is very likely that the warship will be maimed." After Ace blasted the Fist of Fire, the Pirates of Spades looked at with a smile, waiting for the marine ship to be blasted away by the Fire Fist. But when they saw that the Fire Fist was about to hit the ship, suddenly, an astonishing mass of lava appeared, which instantly collapsed Ace's fire, and burst out countless volcanic bombs that attacked them, all with amazement. However, Ace laughed confidently. "What are you afraid of? My goal is to become One Piece. Sooner or later I have to oppose Marine. Why should I care now or in the future?" Boom. Boom. Seeing that so many subordinates support fighting with Marine, Ace is even more motivated. With a big wave of his hand, Haki said, soaring, "Okay, just wait for the Marine warship to come over and watch me blow them up." After speaking, he looked at Akainu nervously in front of him. He knew himself well and knew that he could not stop Ace's attack. Above the warship, only Marine Admiral Akainu could stop Ace. Ends. The captain is the man who wants to be the One Piece, just Marine, defeat them. The pirate ship coming towards Ace was naturally the warship Akainu was on. They spent more than a month and finally caught up with the Pirates of Spades. After seeing the pirate flag, the soldiers immediately went to report. Akainu. Mirror flames. The huge lava fist made up of lava blasted out, which was larger than the huge flame fist. After colliding with the flame fist in the air, the materialized lava fist directly defeated the fire fist composed of flame, and was in midair. The middle burst open, and countless volcanic bombs appeared, shooting at the pirate ship at extremely fast speed. Ace didn't care who was on the warship. After he got excited, he shouted, "Let me come." The two sides fired one after the other, all aimed at the hull. This is the case for naval battles. As long as the opponent's ships can be destroyed, the winning rate can reach at least 90%, even the most powerful people, especially those with the ability, regardless of you. How strong, if there is no landing point in the sea, there is only a dead end. Tavere was very happy. During this time, he had not dared to face Akainu because Akainu put too much pressure on him. Now he finally caught up with the Pirates of Spades, he was naturally relieved, at least not to worry about Akainu. He was dissatisfied. The soldiers on the warship suddenly saw an astonishing flame hitting them, and they all shouted in horror. The flame wall formed by flames is very wide, almost covering the entire pirate ship. He wants to block the falling volcanic bomb with this trick, but he obviously underestimates the impact of the volcanic bomb, although his flame blocked it. Many volcanic bombs, but some volcanic bombs passed through his flame defense, hit the ship, and exploded violently. Boom. There was a violent explosion on the pirate ship. Many pirates were in the center of the explosion and received serious injuries. "Quickly sail, quickly sail." Ace yelled excitedly when he saw this scene. He is a Logia-capable person. Naturally, the explosion of the volcano bomb would not hurt him, but other people would not have that great ability. If there is another attack like this, they would be the pirate ship. I can't take it anymore. Although the pirate ship exploded in many places, it did not damage the maneuvering device of the pirate ship. The pirate ship was still activated and moved quickly. Sakazuki Admiral, the other party started to flee. Tavere saw that Akainu caused such a heavy blow to the Pirates of Spades with just one punch. He was very shocked. He had heard that Akainu was the strongest among the Marine 3 admirals, but he had never seen it with his own eyes. After seeing it with his own eyes at this moment, he knew that the rumors were true, and Akainu was definitely the most unfathomable among Marine 3 admiral. They just fired so many shells and didn't seriously damage the Pirates of Spades. As a result, Akainu created such a power with just one blow. Although this is also related to the lack of defense of the Pirates of Spades, it can't change the strength of Akainu. Akainu said, "Catch up, you can't let one go." Yes. As a result, the pirate ship fled in front, and Marine chased after it. However, the pirate ship was partially destroyed by Akainu's attack. Naturally, the speed of the pirate ship was not as fast as the marine warship, and soon the distance between the two ships was shortened. Rumble. The pirate ship didn't care about the artillery fire behind marine, and ran away. It was inevitable that it was hit several times by the shells. This caused the damaged pirate ship to be damaged again, and it has become crumbling. Captain Ace, the hull is going to be unbearable. Because it was swiftly sailing and was attacked by artillery shells, the pirate ship could no longer hold on after traveling a certain distance, and Marine's warship was getting closer and closer. If it continues to stay at sea, it is very likely that Marine will be wiped out. Diaz said immediately, "Ace, we can't stay on the boat anymore. We must get to the shore immediately, otherwise, if Marine catches up, the consequences will be disastrous." Ace looked solemn, hammered heavily on the table, and said solemnly, "I didn't expect us to fight all the way from East Blue. The first setback we encountered was actually from Marine. What was going on just now? My attack. It was suddenly defeated by someone and caused damage to our ship. Who on earth is on Marine's warship? The magma just came from a human attack, and his fire fist was defeated in an instant, which made him unbelievable." At this time, a pirate next to Ace said, "Captain Ace, you have just entered the Grand Line. You may not know the status of the Grand Line Naval Headquarters. Among the naval headquarters, the strongest is the 3 Marine Admiral, and Marine relies on the 3. The Marine Admiral stunned the sea. They are all strong men standing on the top of the sea, able to compete with the 4 emperors of the New World pirate. The 3 Marine Admirals are Akainu, Kizaru, and Aokiji, and the magma that just appeared suddenly, if I'm not mistaken, it must be Akainu among the 3 admirals. He is a Logia lava fruit capable person. He is very powerful. Terrible. He had fought Whitebeard undefeated more than 10 years ago. He was a terrible guy. The pirates of the Grand Line basically fled when they saw him. No one dared to fight him. The talking pirate was the pirate who Ace conquered after coming to the Grand Line, so he naturally knew more than Ace and others from East Blue, and had heard some rumors about Akainu. Marine Admiral, Akainu. Ace's heart was shaken. Although he didn't see it head-on, but since he could deter Grand Line and fight the pirate 4 emperors, he must be a top-notch figure, especially the blow that just smashed all his proud abilities. The opponents he has encountered in the past are comparable. Captain Ace, although I don't know how Marine Admiral appeared here, we are definitely not Marine Admiral Akainu's opponents and cannot fight them." The pirate eagerly persuaded Ace. He was afraid that Ace would have to fight Akainu without his own strength. He had faith in Ace, but it also depends on who the opponent is. If the opponent is Akainu, he really has the slightest confidence. All are lacking. Masca Deuce also persuaded Ace. What he said is correct. We can't fight them head-on. Our boat will not be able to hold it. I have seen the map. There will be land not far from here, and we will go ashore. Evacuate, as long as you enter the town. Even Marine Admiral will definitely not dare to cause a war easily. When he heard Marine Admiral's fame, Ace did have an urge to see, but when he heard the pirate's persuasion, he also knew that it was not the time. After all, he was not alone. He had to be other members of the pirate group. Responsible. Ace said decisively. "Okay, we will dock on the next land. Let everyone take all the precious things on board, and we will abandon the boat and go ashore." "Okay, Captain Ace." If it was normal, everyone would definitely not be willing, but now their opponent is the prestigious Marine Admiral. What is the difference between fighting with Marine Admiral and looking for death? Everyone is not stupid and naturally runs away. 10 minutes later, Ace and the others finally saw the ferry by the sea, and the people on the pier on the coast saw a dilapidated pirate ship rushing over, and they all exclaimed nervously. The people in charge of the pier management also is gathered here. "There are pirates, there are pirates." The sirens at the docks and ports sounded, and all the people fled around in horror, causing chaos. Sakazuki Admiral, the pirates of Spades seem to be about to dock. On the warship chasing from behind, Tavere saw the actions of the pirates of Spades and immediately said to Akainu. Akainu naturally found this problem, and knew the idea of the pirates of Spades. Their pirate ship was not enough to support them on the sea, so they wanted to get rid of their pursuit on land. Drop quickly and catch up immediately. You can't let a pirate go. At this time, there is still some distance from the shore. Even if he does not have the ability to fly, it is impossible to jump on the shore over such a long distance. He can only chase after disembarking when he is close to the dock. Ace, let everyone separate and flee, otherwise the goal is too big. The people of the Pirates of Spades had been prepared for a long time. After landing, they rushed into the crowd quickly regardless of the people on the shore. However, dozens of pirates evacuated together and the goal was too big, so Mascud DOC would suggest to Ace. What? Let everyone separate and flee. It's too dangerous, Ace said. Diaz said. It's dangerous to get together to escape. We spread out, and Marine will definitely spread out. If there are more targets, it will be easier for us to escape. As long as everyone escapes, it will not be difficult to gather again. Ace only thought for a few seconds, and then agreed. He immediately told the others. Everyone retreats, and then we meet where we stayed. The pirates who can be subdued by Ace have some abilities. After hearing Ace's order, they immediately dispersed and fled in different directions. When Akainu quickly boarded the pier, the pirates of Spades had already dispersed and escaped. Even if he observed carefully, he could not find which direction Ace had escaped from. After all, he and Ace I haven't seen it before, it's really hard to tell from the photo in the back. Sakazuki Admiral, I have been dispersed and pursued, and I will soon be able to gain something, Tavere whispered. Akainu was not as anxious as before, nor did he rush to chase in one direction. After all, he didn't know how many waves the Pirates of Spades had separated, but he believed that Ace could not escape his palm. If you find him once, you will naturally be able to find him a second time. Right and left are just a matter of time, and now, he has nothing else, just a lot of time. As long as you catch the pirate of the Pirates of Spades, send it to me immediately. I don't believe he will give up his own person easily. Marine's efficiency was still good. After a while, 5 pirates from the Pirates of Spades were caught back. Bring the 5 pirates to the warship. Akainu tortured them alone. No one knew how Akainu tortured them, but half an hour later, when Akainu came out, all 5 pirates had died tragically, one more miserable. Even the marine soldiers who collected the bodies were terrified. Yes, he is Marine Admiral Akainu. I have seen pictures of him, he is in this shape. His pirate swallowed and replied affirmatively. 10 days later, Ace finally came to the place he had agreed with the crew before. Suddenly, a cold voice rang in their ears, and everyone's complexion changed drastically, and they quickly took up their weapons. Captain Ace, it's been so many days, and there are still a few brothers who haven't arrived. I don't know if they are coming or something happened. Fire Fist. Portgas d Ace, I have been looking for you for so long, and finally I found you. A pirate next to him immediately shivered and introduced in a low voice, Captain Ace, this guy is Marine Admiral Akainu. I suggest that everyone evacuate immediately. If one of us is caught by Marine, this place may be unsafe. Some people are aware of this serious problem. Who? Boom. The place where they gathered was not in the town, but in the hills behind a very remote village. The door of the makeshift wooden house was kicked open, and then a tall figure appeared in front of them. After Ace heard the words, his expression became extremely solemn, and said, it seems that I can only fight. Diaz said, don't be afraid of 10,000, just in case, for the sake of safety, we'd better evacuate immediately. Before he finished speaking, he immediately reacted. I understand, Sakazuki, I know what to do. Ace suddenly said nervously, isn't it possible? Before we came, we observed carefully, and there was no trace of Marine here. If they knew this, it would be impossible not to set up an ambush here. It has been more than 10 days, so some pirates couldn't help but start to doubt. You don't have to go anywhere, Marine's prison is your next stop. Sakazuki Admiral, we caught a total of 5 Pirates of Spades. After hesitating for a moment, Ace finally nodded and said, well, then we will leave now. In the blink of an eye for a few days, Marine has been conducting a large-scale search for the past few days, but only caught 1 pirate from the Pirates of Spades group, and the rest have disappeared until Akainu received it. He had already arranged the information sent by the person at the agreed location before he left immediately with someone. Ace is different from ordinary pirates. Although he acts more perversely, he rarely hurts the innocent. He also knows that he is wanted, so he rarely appears in public places except for supplies. After all, he recently made trouble on the Grand Line. The movement is not small, and it will inevitably be recognized. Ace looked at the tall man wearing the marine justice coat and asked very vigilantly. His words were immediately unanimously approved by other people. Perhaps there were still companions who hadn't arrived, but it was a matter of great importance and they couldn't risk staying here forever. This place is the place where they rested last time. It is safe enough, remote enough, and more importantly easy to defend and difficult to attack. As long as there are large troops, they will be able to find it at the first time, and there is a safe evacuation route, so he will be so confident that everyone will gather here afterwards. Tavere asked suspiciously. Sakazuki Admiral, don't you already know where they will meet? Why do you want people to continue the search here? Ace was shocked. He asked, is he Marine Admiral Akainu? In just half an hour, thousands of fear points were received. The fear points obtained by torture the pirates were indeed fast and much. Of course, the most important thing was that he got the answer he wanted to know. Ace is the main target, but Akainu doesn't want to let the others go, so this time he is going to catch turtles in the urn and kill them all. Akainu said, bring them to the ship, I will torture them. Who are you? Tavere, you arrange for people to continue hunting down Fire Fist, in this town, and post his reward order to make everyone here know that he is hiding here," Akainu told Tavere. Akainu nodded and said, "According to the location they provided, there is a distance from here. If there are no ships, they will take some time to arrive, so we don't worry, we wait slowly, and we will catch them all at the time. Find them one by one." Ace was also full of excitement, jumped up and asked loudly. Now that Akainu has come to the door, there is no choice but to fight. Akainu said quietly, "Yeah, this time I am the only one to arrest you. If you win me, you will not only survive safely, but you will also be famous, but if you lose, you will only have one end. Die. Boss Ace, you go first, we block him." Akainu's name is very loud, but there is no lack of loyal pirates in the Pirates of Spades. Many people shouted at Ace and let him go first. They stayed to block Akainu. But Ace stretched out his hand to stop those people and said, "You are not his opponents, don't mess around." As the saying goes, there is no weak under the prestigious name. Since Akainu can make such a big name in the sea, it is naturally not comparable to ordinary people. Ace's strength is the strongest among the pirates. Of course, he can't let his men be. He creates opportunities and chooses to escape by himself. "I will stop him, you go first." "No, Boss Ace, we won't leave you behind." "Ace, we have to go together, isn't it Marine Admiral, we fight with him." None of the Pirates of Spades chose to leave Ace and escape, but instead became more concentrated and stared at Akainu. Seeing these young pirates who are not afraid of tigers with newborn calves, Akainu snorted coldly, "None of you can leave." Fire Punch. Ace took the lead and directly used his signature stunt Fire Fist, while the rest of the Pirates of Spades quickly dispersed, preparing to cover for Ace. How dare the light of the Firefly compete with the sun and the moon? Akainu snorted coldly, and the Lava Fist blasted out, smashing the Fire Fist, and then rushed towards Ace. Boom boom. The gunshots continued to sound, and the bullets hit Akainu's body, but to their surprise, after the bullet hit Akainu, it did not pose any threat to Akainu. His body was like magma, and the bullets either passed through. If he lost his body, it was melted by magma. When he told this story, he was naturally not afraid of Ace being passed on. Hearing what Akainu said, Ace's heart was shocked. He always thought that except Garp and Luffy, no one else knew that he was the son of One Piece Roger, but he didn't expect the Akainu in front of him to know all this, and even said he could survive because of the other side's mercy. "Deuce, leave quickly with the injured brothers and run away." "Shenhuo Shiranui," Akainu said, surprised. "Do you think I don't know your details? Portgas d Ace, your mother is Portgas d Rouge, and your father, do you still use me to talk about it?" Boom. Masca Deuce only hesitated for a moment, and then made a decision to immediately let the injured pirate leave. Akainu is a Logia-capable person, and ordinary attacks are not effective against him. "What? At the beginning, I was merciful to your mother and son, hoping that she could teach you to be an ordinary person, but I did not expect that you still embarked on this path. It can be seen that it was not a correct one to let your mother and son go. Choose." Ace's face was shocked. He could already be sure that Akainu's abilities were terrifying, and he was able to suppress his flames. Ace immediately shouted loudly that he himself is a Logia-capable person, so he knows the elemental body very well. These attacks can't hurt him, and naturally it's impossible to hurt Akainu. This time Akainu didn't care about the pirates who fled, just looked at Ace who was facing him. If you had doubts about Akainu's strength before, then Ace has no doubt now, whether it was just defeating his Fire Fist face to face, or the range of this trick is amazing, and it can also simulate the volcanic eruption of Waguo Mountain. The lethality is too terrifying, it is not the ordinary pirates can contend. Ace roared, venting his emotions, and then flames burst out all over his body, as if he had become a burning man. Akainu melted his arm into the shape of a dog's head, rushed straight away, and hit Ace's flames, quickly swallowing the flames, slightly less powerful, but still crashing into Ace. Drink. Although these attacks could not hurt Akainu, they were annoying enough. In addition, Akainu was not going to let the pirates go, so he stopped, his hands turned into magma and pressed on the ground. Waguoshin. Looking at Ace, who is like the god of fire, Akainu said coldly, "Thinking that I got Logia's Mera Mera fruit and defeated a few uninfluenced pirate groups. Do I really think I am invincible? Today I am invincible. I have to let you know what is truly invincible." Regarding this matter, he really didn't know, because neither his mother nor Garp had said anything about that year. He knew that his father was Roger, the One Piece King, and it was also after he remembered it. In an instant, magma flowed out of Akainu's arm, eroded the surrounding area in a few seconds, and quickly spread towards the surrounding area. All the stunned pirates retreated quickly, or they jumped onto the building. At the next moment, the place covered by magma burst and cracked, and an astonishing pillar of fire soared into the sky, turning into a series of volcanic bombs, as amazing as a volcanic eruption. "Since I let you go, I should naturally end all this today. Escape. Some of the pirates who were too late to react were all hit by the volcanic eruption and screamed. For a time, the pirates of Spades suffered heavy losses. Ace roared in anger, and constantly used his own flames to impact the lava. Although he defeated a lot of volcanic bombs, the scope of this move was too large, and many pirates were seriously injured. The dog bites Gurren. How can you know so clearly? Who are you? Ace asked in shock. And when Ace heard Akainu's words, he was shocked. What did you say? Did you let our mother and son go? Akainu became a magma man. Ace tried his best and shouted, Fire Fist. Akainu said, I was in charge of searching for the blood of Roger, the Pirate King. I think your mother is pitiful, so I decided to let you go. The only person who knows is Garp. If you are an ordinary person, this will be an eternal secret. It's a pity that your thief is hard to change, and you still embarked on the same path as your father. I don't know what you were talking about, but it is impossible for you to kill me. His hands turned into flames, forming a flame spear, and then Ace threw it forcefully. The flame spear stabbed Akainu's magma and made a weird sniffing sound. Then the flame spear and the doghead magma disappeared. He did not regret the original decision, but simply believed that his choice was incorrect. Boom. When Ace attacked with all his strength, Akainu had already arrived in front of him, raised his fist and slammed into Ace. For the first time, the two fought in close quarters. Their fists collided, just like the size of the two human figures. Ace was completely crushed by Akainu. After only a few seconds, he was smashed into the air by a huge force. What? Ace screamed and was directly hit by Akainu, landing on the ground more than 10 meters away, and clutching his right hand, his face was full of pain. It turned out that the bone of his right hand was misplaced by Akainu's punch. Akainu won the power and did not forgive, and strode again to Ace's face. Even if Ace backed up hard and used the fruit ability, he was still hit by Akainu's punch. Boom. Ace fell to the ground in embarrassment, looking at Akainu in horror, and exclaimed, How is it possible? Akainu snorted coldly, and said, Surprised? Do you think Logia Devil Fruit is invincible? The ability of elementalization is indeed incomprehensible to ordinary people, but for many people, there is nothing unusual that can restrain Logia elements. There are many abilities to transform. Don't be so surprised. If you don't have the abilities of Logia Mera Mera Fruit, you are still far behind. Ace's strength made him a little disappointed. Without Mera Mera Fruit, his strength would only be rewarded with a reward of tens of millions at best. It is difficult to exceed 100 million Baileys, and he clearly understands strength. Not much. I don't even know that armament hockey can hit the elemental body. But after another thought, this is normal. After all, Ace hasn't even encountered a strong opponent for a year since his debut, and because he relied too much on Mera Mera Fruit's ability and ignored the training of physical skills, so will be easily defeated by Akainu. Just like what Akainu said, throwing away the ability of Logia Mera Mera Fruit, Ace may be able to live very well in the first half of the Grand Line, but when it comes to New World, it is estimated that it is the boss of Shaoluo, compared to the original crocodile all are inferior. But Ace's advantage is that he is young. Only 18 years old Ace can have this kind of strength at this age, and there are few in the ocean. Therefore, although Akainu belittles Ace's strength, he has not belittled Ace's talent. Portgas D. Ace, no matter what your ambitions are, this is all for today. Dark Hound. Akainu's hand turned into magma, and with a strong grip, the magma was sprayed out quickly, and it was about to fall on Ace's body. Ace was severely wounded by 2 blows from Akainu. If he was hit by Dark Hound in the front, he would definitely be in danger of life. So at the moment of life and death, he burst into flames all over his body and tried his best to use his abilities. Flames almost surrounded both Akainu and him. Boom. Even if Ace tried his best, he still couldn't stop Akainu's blow. The whole person was hit again. This time, Akainu hit the lower abdomen and chest head on, but because he tried his best to resist with flames, although he didn't completely blocked, but also blocked part of the impact, so that he was not penetrated by Akainu's Dark Hound, but left a clear scar on the upper abdomen, and even the smell of meat being cooked. Puff. Ace spouted blood, and fell to the ground with his whole body up to the sky, no longer having any strength to stand up. I am a flame man, and I will be burned by magma. Why? Akainu looked at the fallen Ace and said condescendingly, What is the upper limit of Mera Mera Fruit? I don't know, but so far, my magma can crush your flames and die under my magma. It can be regarded as your ultimate belonging, because you should have died in my hands. Ace stared at Akainu, his eyes were full of unwillingness. He didn't want to die. He hadn't completed the goal yet. He hadn't entered the new world. How could he die so easily? He died in this deserted place, willingly. Lifting his foot, Akainu stepped on Ace, who fell on the ground. Boom. With an astonishing crash sound, Akainu's face instantly became extremely ugly. He saw that his magma foot didn't kick Ace, but was blocked by the other foot in the middle. I didn't expect you to appear here. Akainu pressed down hard, and asked the person who suddenly appeared between him and Ace. If I don't come, Ace will really be killed by you, Garp said slowly. Suddenly, it was no one else who saved Ace from Akainu's feet. It was the marine hero Garp. Even Akainu was surprised when Garp appeared. When he fought Ace just now, he didn't pay attention to the surrounding movement until Garp just couldn't help it. When he rushed over, he realized that someone was paying attention to them. This is Garp. If it were changed to someone else, Akainu would have discovered it a long time ago. Akainu said coldly. First, Marine, he is a pirate, it is only right for me to kill him, but you, the magnificent marine hero, has cultivated a pirate who wants to be the king of pirates. Remember how I told you in the first place? Did you say that? Garp looked very ugly. He said, I know I didn't do this thing well, but even so, I can't just watch you kill him, Sakazuki. You were able to spare their mother and son. Why can't you let him go this time? Akainu said coldly. The year was then, and now is now. He was not born yet, and his mother did not do evil, but now he has become a pirate. I don't know how many civilians died because of him. If I let go, I don't know how many people will die because of him in the future. Garp Vice Admiral, don't stop me. Garp looked tangled. He knew that Akainu was telling the truth and that Ace was walking the wrong way, but he couldn't change Ace at all, let alone let Akainu kill Ace in front of him. Sakazuki, give him to me, I will definitely let him correct his evil. Akainu said. Looking at him, you know it's impossible, Garp Vice Admiral, don't say these unrealistic things anymore. I don't want to be an enemy of you, so you'd better get out of it. Garp said in a deep voice, I can't get away. If you want to kill him, kill me first. Ace fell on the ground, covering his wound, looking at Garp with a guilty face. He was brought up by Garp. Naturally, he knew that Garp wanted him to be marine, but he had his own ideals and didn't want to be arranged, so he took advantage of it. Garp didn't pay attention and went to sea to become a pirate, but he didn't expect to encounter Akainu. He was defeated badly, and now he was rescued by Garp. Old man, I'm sorry. Hearing Ace's apology, Garp's heart trembled suddenly, but his eyes became firmer. Ace, although you are not related to me by blood, in my eyes, you and Luffy are both my grandsons. Now that grandson has made mistakes, it is natural for me to be a grandfather, but you can rest assured that I am here. No one can kill you. Old man, you don't care about me. This is the path I chose. I will be responsible for my choice, and you don't need to bear it for me. Ace didn't want to make Garp embarrassed and shouted excitedly. Garp roared. I won't take it for you, who else can take it for you? Akainu only felt that a huge power was coming from his feet, and he immediately increased his strength. The collision of the two great powers suddenly produced fierce energy. Garp grabbed the injured Ace and quickly backed away, while Akainu stayed still. Garp Vice Admiral, you'd better think about it. If you insist on doing this, I won't hide it for you this time. Garp said. Everyone has their own justice to uphold. You are right, but I have to do this too. If I don't save Ace, I will regret it forever, just like you violated Sengoku's order back then. But now I am. For me, it's the same. Garp shouted. But to his surprise, Sengoku's answer to him was that Garp had already explained this to Sengoku before him. Sengoku already knew that Garp had rescued Ace and his subordinates from his men. Pirate. This made him admire Garp, at least Garp was very responsible. Looking back at the things he did when he came to this world, he found that he didn't handle many things well. He overly imitated Akainu's temperament in the anime. Sometimes he did a lot of things that he shouldn't do in the future. I made a lot of mistakes that shouldn't have been made. Looking back now, although I have no regrets, I still sigh. A firmness flashed in Akainu's eyes, and he strengthened his thoughts. Naturally, Tavere was the one who never chased the pirates of spades. If Akainu didn't guess wrong, they should have been rescued by Garp. With Garp's old ways, it would be impossible for Marine to catch up. Sakazuki Admiral, did you catch anyone? It seems that he really deserves to die. Garp shook Ace back and said loudly, take him away quickly. The two played for more than an hour, and finally Akainu left with a gloomy face. He couldn't break through Garp's defense, and couldn't kill Ace, so this time he could only give up. After all, he didn't need to live and die with Garp. Beat. Tavere saw that Akainu's face was not good, so he didn't dare to ask more, and immediately arranged for someone to chase the pirates of spades. Garp. Do you know what you are doing? Are you crazy, or stupid, to do this kind of thing? Garp was also unwilling to show weakness and used Conqueror's Haki. This was the first time Akainu saw Garp use Conqueror's Haki. He found that Garp's Conqueror's Haki was not much worse than him. The two Hakis collided and were evenly matched. I saw that Mascot Deuce, who had fled before, didn't know when he appeared behind him, caught Ace all at once, and then immediately turned and fled. Akainu roared. It seems that I said nothing is useless again. Garp Vice Admiral. If you want to save him, it depends on whether you can do it. Sengoku smashed all the teacups angrily. In his office, there were only 3 people. Apart from him, the remaining 2 were Akainu and Garp, while Sengoku's anger was directed at Garp. An amazing hockey broke out from him. Although he and Garp played many times, this time was different. Before, it was a match, but this time it was a real fight. When Akainu returned to naval headquarters, he told Sengoku the whole story. It was not that he made a small report, but that the matter could not be concealed at all. If he did not say it, maybe Sengoku would suspect that he let him go. Fire Fist, Ace. Boom. Let me see if you have grown in the past few years, Sakazuki. This is a problem, but if Ace is just let go, he is not reconciled, so in general, although Garp's appearance makes him angry, it also gives him a little more time to think. After returning to the warship, Tavere asked in surprise when he saw Akainu come back alone, because he already knew that the Pirates of Spades was there, and he had been paying attention there, but also saw that there was a lot of movement there. So he felt that with Akainu's strength, he would definitely be able to kill the Pirates of Spades, but he didn't expect Akainu to come back alone. It's worthy of being a man called a marine hero, but even you don't want to shelter the pirate easily in front of me. The appearance of Garp made Akainu calm down a bit. He thought of a very important question. If it weren't for Garp's appearance just now, he might have killed Ace. If Ace dies at this time, the future battle on the top will be again. How will it happen? If there is no battle for the top, how can he remove Sengoku from the position of Marshal Marine and come to power on his own? Is it because I am soft-hearted, or because I am afraid of losing control of the plot, or because my ambition is at stake, so I seem indecisive in many things? At this moment, Akainu didn't care about the friendship between the two, and used hockey with all his strength to confront Garp in an imposing manner. It's time to make a change, Naval Headquarters. Akainu faintly replied. There was an accident and let them escape. You immediately arranged for someone to chase. Akainu said. We are different, Lasana is marine, and he is a pirate. Lying on the chair, Akainu looked solemnly thinking about a serious problem. In fact, he realized this problem a long time ago, but he didn't care about it before, but now with the passage of time, it will soon be the plot of Luffy to go to sea. So this emotion became more and more obvious, and he had to think seriously. Do you want to continue pursuing? Soon, Akainu made a decision and continued pursuing. Although Ace is still not the climate, who knows what will happen in the future, and even if he keeps Ace, it is still uncertain whether there will be a war on the top in the future. So why give up your persistence for an uncertain future? 5 years later, Akainu and Garp fought again, but this time was different from before. Both of them fought for their beliefs and used their full strength, so the battle was fierce. Akainu didn't pursue it, because the strongest ace of the Pirates of Spades had been hit hard by him. As long as Marine could find them, he would be able to catch them, but he didn't have any hope of it, because Garp could stop him, so naturally. Stop others. Faced with Sengoku's question, Garp said without change, I naturally know what I'm doing. Upon hearing this, Sengoku became even more angry. He pointed to Garp and asked, since you know what you are doing, why do you do it? Portgas d'Ace is the son of One Piece Roger, so I don't care about it. You take him in, but now that he has become a pirate, do you still want to protect him? The Ghost Spider said, nothing special happened. It was mainly responsible for catching the pirates, but now those pirates have become refined. They have escaped our investigation through various methods, and we don't have a good way. Garp said, he is not only Roger's son, but also my grandson. He hasn't even seen Roger. Also, just take advantage of this opportunity to leave the headquarters. The Ghost Spider said, it was indeed not dead, because the people around her happened to block the attack for her at the time, and the murderer was actually found. It is said to be a soldier of the Murloc clan, but specifically, it was covered up by Princess Otahime and others, so I don't know. What surprised him was that Princess Otahime and others moved very fast, and the murderer was found so soon. I don't know if Princess Otahime deliberately let out the wind, or really found the murderer, but it can stop humans and Murlocs. The riots between the two, this is also a good thing. Leaving this time, Akainu brought his own private army, a unit composed of Jonathan and others. Sengoku was afraid of Akainu. Not only did he transfer him to North Blue, but also his henchmen, such as Ghost Spiders and others, were also left in the Marine branch, so they were easily prevented from returning to Naval Headquarters, so Ghost Spiders have not seen Akainu for so long. After speaking, he immediately told Akainu, Sakazuki, this time I will leave it to you. I will not let Garp stop you again. After you find him, you must put him to death. Akainu was quite surprised. He remembered that something like this happened in the anime. Princess Otahime was killed by a Murloc, but he really didn't have much impression of which Murloc was in his mind now, as if he really couldn't remember what it was called haughty. But now he heard the ghost spider say that Princess Otahime had not been killed, which made him more surprised. 2 months later, Fire Fist. Ace seemed to have disappeared, never showing up. I don't know if he is recovering from his injuries or deliberately avoiding the pursuit of naval headquarters. For this result, he had already expected that Sengoku could not let Roger's blood out, so he must want to get rid of Ace, but after the last failed hunt, he wanted to catch Ace again. It was not that easy. Sakazuki, you haven't been here for a long time. It seems that a deviation has really occurred. Sengoku said, don't blame me, Garp, I'm doing this for you. Sakazuki, I'll leave it to you, and you will execute it immediately. If there was a little hesitation before, after seeing Garp's appearance, Sengoku would not hesitate anymore. If Ace is not dead, Garp may do a lot of wrong things. He doesn't want his old partner to be unprotected in his old age, so he is determined to get rid of Ace. In fact, people like ghost spiders and others, even if they are placed in naval headquarters, are excellent generals with promising future, but because they are on Akainu's side, they will be suppressed. The GX-1 Marine branch around the Fishmen Island has gradually developed into the more famous branch of Marine. Many pirates who want to enter the New World hate this. Therefore, the name of this branch is relatively loud and self-confidence is relatively weak. The pirate group has not dared to enter the New World blatantly under the pirate flag. Originally, we were going to inform you of this incident, but later Princess Otahime came out to stop the rumors, and also claimed that the murderer was found, not a human, so that there was no conflict between the Murloc and the human. But even so, the relationship between the Murlocs and our humans became tense again. After that, except for a few Murlocs on the Fishmen Island, most Murlocs were unwilling to contact us. From Marine Admiral to Idler, for the average person, it is indeed too much wronged, but Akainu's mentality is very good, and he is not frustrated by it. This is also normal. The seabed is so big and the Fishmen Island is so big. Even their marine soldiers cannot occupy all of them, and it is impossible to detect all the pirates. They can only try their best to catch them. Akainu said, this time I came, mainly with the task of Marshal Sengoku, responsible for hunting down the super rookie of the pirates, the captain of the Pirates of Spades, Portgas d'Ace. Recently he has been wearing from the Fishmen Island Pass? Akainu nodded, stood up and left Sengoku's office. There was no news of Ace, and Akainu didn't care, but followed them into the branch, and then asked the ghost spider about what happened during his absence. After many years, I saw Akainu again. Ghost Spider and others were very excited. Although they often contact Akainu, how can they compare to meeting in person? After listening to Akainu, he felt relieved that anime is an anime after all, and now it is the real world, so it is not surprising that such an accident happened, and the Princess Otahime of the Fishmen Island is not dead, which is for the fish. Interaction between humans and humans can play an important role. After searching for so long in the first half of the Grand Line, he did not find the target, so Akainu decided to go to the marine branch of the Fishmen Island. He believed that if Ace wanted to enter the New World, he would choose to start from the bottom of the sea. He was in the fish. The marine branch of Men Island may be able to wait. Sengoku roared. Even so, he has become a pirate now and is moving in a worse direction. If he is not stopped in time, he will be like his evil father and become a big man of the world. The enemy absolutely cannot let him continue. We must get rid of him. Dolo Rear Admiral said, Sakazuki Admiral, we have been fine these years, but you have suffered more grievances than us. Garp also yelled at Sengoku angrily. Akainu was also very happy to see ghost spiders and others, and said with emotion, it's really hard for you all these years. Sengoku. Oh? Princess Otahime is not dead? The ghost spider said. We have been arranging people to watch at the entrances of various passages, and we have not found the Pirates of Spades. In recent years, the number of pirates entering the New World has also decreased. What's the reason? Because Murlocs often trade with us, the relationship between Murlocs and humans has changed a lot. However, a few years ago, an incident occurred on the Fishmen Island. Someone blatantly assassinated the Fishmen Island. Princess Otahime, and even framed it as our marine, caused a great sensation at the time. After staying at the GX-1 branch base for more than 2 months, he still didn't get any information about Ace. In the 3rd month, he finally got information about Ace, but it was not from the Fishmen Island in the first half of the Grand Line. Paragraph, but from New World. It turns out that Ace didn't know which way to enter the New World, so that Akainu on the seafloor did not find it. According to the information he obtained, after entering New World, Ace actually defeated a large pirate group in New World. At the same time, his strength has also been greatly improved. Correspondingly, his bounty has been adjusted again. It became 330 million Bailey, which shook New World for the first time, letting the pirates of New World know that a super newcomer had arrived. New World. A warship is driving on the sea, and on the deck of the warship is standing a tall female officer, a full 1.9 meter tall, slender hair, handsome face, if not the clear one on her cheek scar is definitely a beautiful woman. Lizana. What are you thinking? Behind the female officer appeared another woman, who was even taller, much taller than Lizana. A pirate has appeared. New World deserves to be the hometown of pirates. Pirates will be found everywhere. Boss Ace, there is a marine warship ahead. Zhuan Yuan said, it will take me more than a year to return to the headquarters. If you are in a hurry to return, I can contact the people at the branch base to arrange for you to return to the headquarters. Although she also wanted to see Akainu soon, she was not ready to go back immediately, but had a beginning and an end, with Zhuan Yuan. After all, they came out together at the beginning. At this moment, a marine female soldier ran over to report to Zhuan Yuan. But she really likes Lizana, and treats Lizana like a Crane vice admiral treats her, very caring. Zhuan Yuan sighed helplessly. She knew that Lizana would answer like that. She felt that Lizana had the true biography of Akainu. The two of them had very similar personalities. They would never leave their hands on pirates. Knowing that there were dozens or hundreds of pirates killed by Lizana, and more pirates were arrested. Vice Admiral, Zhuan Yuan, a pirate ship was found ahead. These two women are Lizana and Zhuan Yuan. Zhuan Yuan has become Marine Vice Admiral for some time. As one of the most outstanding Marine Vice Admiral among the younger generation of Marine, Zhuan Yuan is naturally cultivated by naval headquarters. Like the three of Akainu, Kizaru and Aokiji back then. Although Ace's bounty is more than 300 million, which is very high, Zhuan Yuan is not an ordinary person. This pirate is a super newcomer. She really hasn't paid attention to it. After coming to New World, she didn't do much, basically. Lizana will do it for you. Ace considered it for a moment, and then said, it's better to do more than to do less. Our goal is Whitebeard. There is no need to entangle with Marine and bypass them. Regarding Lizana's life experience and origin, only those private soldiers who accompanied Akainu to the New World knew about it. Later, Akainu prevented them from spreading, so apart from them, there are only a handful of Lizana's identity. People know, Zhuan Yuan doesn't know, so she thought it was Akainu that brought Lizana into this way. She thought that Lizana would be like this because of Akainu, but she actually didn't understand Lizana. The reason why Lizana would be like this was not because of Akainu, but from herself. Zhuan Yuan asked, it turned? It seems that it should not be the Four Emperors pirate group, otherwise it would never be turned. Have you seen the opponent's pirate flag? It just so happened that the pirate group they met with Lizana happened to be the pirate group of Spades. Since he was defeated by Akainu in the first half of the Grand Line and saved by Garp, it took him a long time to recover from his injury, and then came to New World. He doesn't want to fight Marine anymore. First, because he was defeated by Akainu before, and there is Shadow. Second, Garp warned him not to fight Marine again. If Marine Admiral is brought out again, he can save it once, no may be saved a second time. Today, he is no longer the fledgling kid at the beginning. He already knows a lot of secrets, such as the situation of New World. The most powerful of New World is the Pirate Four Emperors. Even the world government has countless countries to join, but if it is really better than come up, I am afraid that New World Four Emperors may not be more powerful in New World, not to mention Marine. Now Marine has only two branches in New World, G1 and G5, and generally they will not be dispatched. Because Ace reappeared and defeated a big pirate again, Marine adjusted his bounty, which has reached more than 350 million. It is definitely one of the pirates who have upgraded the bounty most quickly in these years. The first half of New World is different from Grand Line. Not all pirates can catch it. After all, New World is the world of Pirate Four Emperors. Even Marine generals like Zhuan Yuan and others don't dare to move the Pirate Four Emperors. After all, if the Pirate Four Emperors were brought out, these people, including the Marine branch of New World, would definitely not be their opponents. Lizana shook her head and said, no, I'll stay with you. The female soldier reported. I see it clearly. After screening, it seems to be the newly emerged pirates, the Pirates of Spades. The captain is Portgas D. Ace, and the reward is 350 million 6 million shells. Lee is a pirate super rookie. Logia Mera Mera fruit-capable person, is said to be very strong. Let's go over and see what pirate group it is. Lizana turned her head and said, Sister Zhuan Yuan, I'm thinking about the teacher. I heard that the teacher has returned from North Blue. I don't know when we can return to the headquarters. Not long ago, he defeated a big pirate who offered a bounty of 320 million Baileys, which made him famous in New World, and also made him proud and confident. Now ordinary pirates can no longer satisfy him, he is ready to challenge the most powerful pirate in New World. Zhuan Yuan Vice Admiral couldn't help but sigh with emotion. Since entering New World, they have discovered that New World is completely different from the first half of the Grand Line. There are too many pirates here. The first half of the Grand Line is suppressed by naval headquarters. There are pirates who dare to come forward, but New World is different. This is a paradise for pirates, so you can often see pirate boats running rampant. Ace's expression changed suddenly, and he thought of bad memories in an instant. He asked strangely, New World can still meet marine warships. It's not that New World is a paradise for pirates. Even marine can't be in New World. Is it a foothold? Vice Admiral, the pirate ship in front of you turned. It's just about Ace's identity, which is secret. Even in naval headquarters, only Sengoku and Garp know about it. Even before Garp rescue happened, Sengoku thought that Akainu didn't know it. When the pirates heard Ace's order, they didn't hesitate and just turned around. I don't know what's going on. Ace, what are we going to do? Duis asked Ace. After coming to New World, with Ace's character, it is naturally impossible to be unknown. He immediately launched an action and deterred New World with his powerful strength. Ace was able to make such a big improvement because he lost to Akainu. Realizing their own shortcomings, that's why they work hard and become stronger. Lasana snorted coldly and said, no matter what ability it is, as long as it is a pirate, it is absolutely not allowed to let it go and catch up. Zhuan Yuan said in surprise. Oh? Is this the new pirate? I have also heard of him, Logia capable person, Lasana, but he is a bit like you. According to what Colonel Lisana said, catch up immediately. The previous pirate ship of the Pirates of Spades has been destroyed by Akainu. The current pirate ship is newly built by them. It is better than the previous pirate ship, and the speed is naturally faster, but compared with the more technologically advanced naval headquarters, their pirate ship is still inferior to the marine warship. As time went by, the distance between the two sides was slowly getting closer, and Ace snorted very impatiently. The Marines are really like mucosal plasters. If they meet, they have to catch up. Boss Ace. Marine is just like a dog, biting people everywhere. There are not many good people in Marine I have seen, and they say that our pirates kill people without blinking. But in fact Marine is not worse than us, but their image is better than ours. That's it. When a pirate heard Ace's complaint, he immediately spoke. When it came to Marine, his face was full of disdain. Yes, if it wasn't for being helpless, how many people would want to be pirates? There are a lot of bad guys in pirates, but there are also many people like Ace Boss who dream of becoming pirates, but those Marines don't care about these. As long as you become a pirate, they don't care if you are good or bad, they just want to destroy you before they are willing. The previous complaint of the pirate immediately resonated with other pirates, and they all complained one after another. I was also persecuted by the gang of nobles. I can't live as an ordinary person. It's better to be a pirate. At least I can survive. This is enough for me. Yes, if you have a good life, how many people would choose to live this kind of life? Listening to the discussions of the pirates, Ace's expression was very complicated. It was the first time he heard the true thoughts of his subordinates, although he knew that most people here were different from him, not for the so-called One Piece to go to sea, but also unexpectedly, most of them are so miserable. Huh. Why is it snowing? Suddenly a pirate looked at the sky suspiciously, only to see that it was just a bit cloudy just now, and it started to snow. Other pirates also discovered this situation, but some people were surprised and cried out, no, it's only snow in our area, and no snow in other places. What's the matter? Everyone looked up, and saw that the snow in a place around their pirate ship from the beginning became bigger and bigger, but the sea in the distance did not snow, not at all. It's getting colder. Many people shuddered. Ace watched more and more snowflakes falling on the pirate ship, but it did not melt. Instead, more and more, and even began to freeze, while the rest did not snow. This strange situation immediately caused him attention. Everyone, be careful, something is wrong, he shouted. Hearing Ace's yelling, the pirates became vigilant, but soon a scream drew the attention of others. What? Everyone immediately turned their heads and looked, and saw that a pirate had fallen to the ground. His neck seemed to be pierced by some sharp weapon, and the blood of Cuckoo came out, and he stopped moving after a few convulsions. Who is it? There were not many pirates in the Pirates of Spades. After the previous Akainu chase, some people were lost. Now there are only 20 people left in the entire pirates, so Ace cherishes everyone's for his life. Seeing a pirate killed in their pirate ship at this time was naturally very angry. Look at the sky. Ace and the others looked up and saw that the snowflakes in the sky gathered together and turned into a person with only the upper body. Woman. Ace was taken aback for a moment, but a pirate of his pirate group exclaimed, it's a capable person, the other party is a capable person, please be careful. Ace roared. No matter what your ability is, anyone who dares to kill me can't forgive, Huo Fist. The flame fist smashed into the woman in the air. The woman who suddenly appeared on the pirate ship was naturally Lasana. She used her ability to create wind and snow, and then turned into snowflakes, came to Ace's pirate ship, and proceeded. Sneak attack. Seeing Ace's fire fist hit, Lasana didn't rush, pushing her hands flat, and suddenly a large number of snowflakes fluttered, and quickly gathered, blocking her in front, forming an amazing snowwall defense. The flame and snowflake collide together. Although the snowflake is continuously melted by the high temperature of the flame, the low temperature produced by the snow also reduces the temperature of the flame and constantly extinguishes the flame. Captain Ace's fire fist was blocked. When the flames in the snow wall disappeared, the pirates of Spades were very surprised. Now that Ace's strength is getting stronger and stronger, it is difficult for ordinary people to stop his fire fist. Unexpectedly, this suddenly appeared. The woman is so strong. Snowflakes kept gathering, and the woman who had only had the upper body before, had now become a normal person, and had fallen on the pole of their boat, looking at them condescendingly. It turned out to be a woman. What ability does this guy have? Many pirates in the Pirates of Spades were surprised to see Lasana condensed from snow. It was the ship doctor of the pirates group, Masca Deuce, said. This woman can have this kind of change. I am afraid that she is a Logia ability like Ace, who can control snow, and she is still marine. Could it be that New World is more famous? A cutting-edge marine and is now girl, with snow fruit ability? Snow girl. Could it be the female marine who defeated the Whitebeard pirate team leader? Because Ace's biggest goal is Whitebeard, so after coming to New World, I naturally inquired a lot about the Whitebeard pirates. The Whitebeard pirates hasn't made any big moves for many years. In recent years, one of the more famous is a pirate captain. Was defeated by a female marine. I didn't expect to encounter such a powerful person, who is still the same as me, a Logia-capable person. Ace is no longer the old Amon. Naturally, I know how rare Logia devil fruit is. This snow girl became famous earlier than him, and she can defeat the captain of the Whitebeard pirates. She must be very strong. Lasana looked down at the pirate below, and quickly locked Ace among the crowd, and asked in a cold tone. You are Pele's Fire Fist, Portgas D with a bounty of 356 million, Ace? Because one of his own people was killed, Ace was full of hatred for Lasana, and shouted. You haunted Marines, we have avoided you, and even chased up and killed our people. Do you really think we can't beat you? Faced with Ace's anger, Lasana snorted coldly. All the pirates deserve to die. Whether we should die or not, it's not your ugly monster that can decide. Ace pointed at Lasana and yelled. He had already seen Lasana's appearance. Although she was graceful, the scars on her face were also obvious, destroying the beautiful lava. An enraged Ace used this to vent her anger. Dissatisfied. Lasana, who was originally cold and frosty, became colder after hearing Ace's scolding, and his murderous aura became heavier. At the same time, the snow in the sky became more and more. The pirate ship was like a white coat, and the temperature on the pirate ship dropped rapidly. Sudden, a flame suddenly appeared on Ace's body, and the temperature rose slowly with him as the center. Captain, the temperature on the ship is getting lower and lower, and snow is falling everywhere. If we wait to freeze the ship, we won't be able to sail. The pirate in charge of the driver's cab suddenly shouted to Ace that although Lasana's ability cannot create ice instantly like Aokiji, as long as time permits, it can also freeze the pirate ship. Ace, she must be stopped, or we will be caught up, Deuce said to Ace. Ace nodded. The flames on his body became more intense, driving the low temperature on the pirate ship. The flames and the ice and snow really inhibited each other, but whoever is stronger depends on the user of the ability. Seeing that it was almost done, Lasana suddenly flashed a cold light in her eyes, and the whole person jumped down from above. The endless snow and ice hit everyone on the pirate ship, and Ace was not to be outdone, and used her fire ability with all her strength. Confronted Lasana once. As Logia, Lasana and Ace are both very strong. Like the others in the Pirates of Spades, there is no way to intervene, because without armament hockey, they can't hurt Logia's Lasana at all, just watching Ace's flames and Lasana's ice and snow confront each other. Vice Admiral in Zhuanyuan, let Lasana go by alone. Isn't it a bit risky? After all, she is that disciple. While Lasana was fighting Ace, following the marine warship behind, the lieutenant of Zhuanyuan asked Zhuanyuan in a low voice. Zhuanyuan shook his head and said, Don't worry, I have confidence in Lasana's strength. Now is the time to train her. As for Sakazuki Admiral, if he knows, he will not stop it, but will be more radical. Lasana's strength is very strong. Even if she wants to defeat Lasana, it's not that easy. Although Firefist is a newly emerging pirate rookie, she doesn't think Ace can beat Lisa. Nah. On the pirate ship, the battle between Ace and Lasana was very fierce. The abilities of the two restrained each other, and the physical skills were the same. Just as the pirate ships and warships are chasing me, they have entered a special sea area, which belongs to one of the 4 emperors of the New World pirates, Red Hair Pirates, and the red-haired Shanks. Speaking of which, the reason why the Pirates of Spades came here is because Ace is going to visit the red-haired Shanks. A giant dragonhead ship sailing above the sea. If Akainu were here, he would definitely recognize this giant ship as the pirate ship of red hair pirates. After their ship sank under the sea, another ship was built. The same pirate ship. Boss, there is information coming. Pirate ships and marine warships appeared 50 nautical miles away from us. On the pirate ship, a pirate was facing Shanks to report. Before Shanks spoke, other pirates said coldly, Marine has become more and more courageous. He even dared to kill people in our territory. Boss, let's go and F***K them. At the beginning, Red Hair Pirates was defeated by Akainu. Although it has been more than 10 years, they still hate Marine. So when they heard that Marine came to their territory, they naturally didn't want to let them go. Marine? Shanks raised his brows and he couldn't help but think of Akainu. He made his debut for so many years and suffered several losses, but only 2 of them were the most unforgettable. One was against the Whitebeard Pirates, and the other was against Marine. The match with Marine was also his worst failure. Although I don't want to have a conflict with Marine, but this time they broke into our territory first and went to have a look. The Red Hair Pirates immediately drove in the direction of the Pirates of Spades and the Marine warship. At this time, the battle between Lasana and Ace is going to the fiercest moment. Although both of them are Logia-capable people, Lasana has armament hockey, so she has an advantage to a certain extent. She has hit Ace several times. If this trend continues, it is estimated that Lasana will be the winner. However, Lasana is now alone on the pirate ship, and Ace has many loyal subordinates. With the help of these subordinates, it is difficult for Lasana to defeat Ace, so the 2 sides are in anxiety. It's just that this situation is definitely not a good thing for the Pirates of Spades, because besides Lasana, there is a Marine behind them, and the distance is getting closer and closer. When the 2 sides get closer, they are finally unlucky. It must be them. Boom. With a loud noise, the ship of the Pirates of Spades stopped suddenly, and the pirate in charge of the posture immediately shouted, Captain Ace, it's not good, the maneuvering device of the ship is frozen, and the ice and snow must be broken. Keep driving. Lasana's abilities finally came into play. Unlike Aokiji's frozen fruit, it takes a certain amount of time for snow fruit to create a hard frozen effect, not to mention that she is still fighting Ace, so it will take longer. Ace's expression suddenly changed. Their ship was unable to move, but the warship behind was not affected. With the distance of 2 ships, they could catch up with them in less than 5 minutes, and then they would have no way to escape. How can Marine be so strong? Ace was really depressed. In the past, the Marines he encountered in East Blue were basically weak chickens. Why are the Marines of the Grand Line so powerful? First, Akainu beat them easily, and then this Logia snow fruit. The snow girl is not weaker than him. Zhuan Yuan in the rear saw the pirate ship stopped, and immediately knew that Lasana's ability had worked. After all, she had cooperated for so long, so she immediately let the warship sail at high speed, and soon caught up with the pirate ship. Humph. Lasana gave a cold snort, then quickly backed away, turning into pieces of snowflakes and returning to the Marine warship. Now the pirate ship has been frozen in ice, so she is not afraid of them escaping. Captain Ace, the boat can't move, what should I do? The Pirates of Spades gathered around Ace. Ace's complexion was gloomy. Although his flames can melt ice and snow, it is not an overnight thing. It takes time to melt, but now Marine's warship has been in front of them. He has no time to do these things. In fact, Ace's flame power is still great. Just like in anime, it can instantly melt Aokiji's ice, but the problem is that the current Ace does not have that strength, and this is their pirate ship, he can't be unscrupulous. Use flames, otherwise they may burn their hulls when melting ice and snow. Portgas d Ace, you are already surrounded, surrender immediately, otherwise don't blame us for firing. Marine's shout came from the opposing warship, and the Pirates of Spades screamed outrageously. But it's just a warship, and dare to say arrogantly that it surrounded us, you have guns, don't we have it? Several of our cannons were frozen by the ice and snow, and the firepower is definitely not as strong as Marine's. In the strength of the battle just now, Lasana could use her abilities unscrupulously, but Ace could not. Under the cold temperature of ice and snow, several cannons were frozen, and it was not possible to repair it in a short while. Lasana was also aware of the seriousness of the situation, and she said, then we quickly contact Uncle Claude and the people in the G1 branch. A pirate screamed and pointed at them 45 degrees, because they were blocked by Marine's warship just now and did not see it, but now they saw it, and saw a large pirate ship approaching fast. The Pirates of the Spades pirates on the other side were waiting in full array, but suddenly they heard the loud sound of Marine's horn. They were all taken aback. They didn't understand what was going on with Marine, so let's attack. Why did they blow the horn? His original plan was to submit the greeting card after entering the site of Red Hair Pirates, and then meet the red-haired Shanks. However, before the greeting card was sent, Red Hair Pirates had actually appeared, and it was still the most difficult for them. Not only that, even if he broke an arm back then, he could still hold the position of 4 emperors and repel Kaido, one of the 4 emperors, so his strength is absolutely unfathomable. Let alone his in addition, the other pirates of Red Hair Pirates should not be underestimated. The main members are large pirates who offer a reward of more than hundreds of millions of Baileys. But they soon discovered something was wrong, because Marine was not facing them, but in another direction. Hiss. The reason why Lasana can move back and forth between warships and pirate ships is because of her ability. She can turn her body into pieces of snowflakes floating in the air. Although it is not a flight, it can definitely float far away. The only disadvantage is that the speed is not fast. Red Hair, as 4 emperors Red Hair Pirates. Captain Ace. What shall we do? On the warship, Zhuan Yuan asked Lasana. How is the opponent's strength? Zhuan Yuan took a deep breath, and in her sight, she saw a huge dragon-head battleship swiftly approaching them, and it could be reached within a few minutes at most. Even if they wanted to avoid it, it was too late. What? She is able to stay in danger, mainly because of her confidence. Her status in Marine is not low, and Lasana is a disciple of Marine Admiral Akainu. If the red-haired Shanks really wants to do something with them, it will inevitably cause a war between the two sides. She didn't think Shanks would do that. All the pirates took a deep breath, then looked at Ace at the same time and asked, Captain Ace, do you really have friendship with 4 emperors red hair? Zhuan Yuan nodded and said, if this is the case, then get rid of them. The super newcomer in the pirate world, if you win him, it will be a big credit. All staff are ready. Ready for battle. The expressions of Zhuan Yuan and Lasana changed drastically at the same time, and Zhuan Yuan grabbed the binoculars and looked in that direction. Lasana replied, except for the Fire Fist, the rest of the pirates shouldn't worry about it. With that, she was about to start giving orders, but at this moment, the soldier who was in charge of observing the movement of the sea suddenly screamed in horror, and she immediately asked dissatisfiedly, what's the matter? Zhuan Yuan heard Lasana's muttering, and immediately said with a serious face, Lasana, don't underestimate Sakazuki Admiral because Red Hair was once defeated by Sakazuki Admiral. He was defeated by you before he became 4 emperors. In the hands of the teacher, after becoming the 4 emperors, he never lost again. They all knew that Ace was here to find Shanks the Red Hair. At first they were under a lot of pressure, but Ace said that he had friendship with the Red Hair. They were relieved, but now they really see the sea of Red Hair Pirates. After the thief, he was still terrified. After all, the red-haired Shanks represented the pinnacle of the New World pirates. The marine female soldier stumbled to Zhuan Yuan's side, with a frightened expression on her face and stammered. The loud horn sounded, and all the combatable soldiers on the warship gathered quickly. At this time, what kind of pirates of spades could not be taken care of in Zhuan Yuan? Compared with red hair pirates, the pirates of spades were even one. Root hair is not as good. One pirate 4 emperors, red-haired Shanks, is that the one who lost to the teacher? Lasana whispered. Zhuan Yuan waved his hand and said, it's too late. Even if we notify them now, it's too late. Don't mess up. We will see what red hair pirates means. Although the 4 emperors are powerful, Marine is not easy to provoke. Unless he wants to go to war, he will definitely not attack us. Ace said firmly, if we surrender to Marine, how can we be a pirate? The pirate is free. If we lose freedom, I would rather not have this life. Marine wants to take my life, but there is no so easy. Ace was also surprised, and said, is it really red hair pirates? We haven't sent them a greeting yet, they have already come? That is, 4 emperors, red hair pirates. An astonishing haki emanated from his body. This was his conqueror's haki. What's the matter? Ace was puzzled. The pirates of spades all looked at Ace, and none of them showed fear. After all, they were not the first day to be pirates. They were prepared for death a long time ago, not to mention the fight. Even if there are more people in Marine than them, it is still uncertain who wins and loses in the end. Captain Ace is right, I fight with them, the pirates shouted. Under the gaze of the pirates of spades, Marine and others, the dragon-head giant ship finally came between the two sides. After seeing the whole ship, whether it is the pirates of spades or the warship, the Marine soldiers held their breath and did not dare to make a sound. Really, it's the 4 emperors of the New World pirates, red hair pirates. After the huge dragon-head battleship approached, all the men on both sides swallowed. The pirates of spades were okay. They learned from Captain Ace that Ace and the red-haired Shanks had friendship, but Marine soldiers they are different. They may be brave to deal with ordinary pirates, but facing the legendary 4 emperors, most people do not have that kind of courage. Zhuan Yuan looked solemn. Before Shanks appeared, she told her lieutenant. If there is a fight later, you must arrange for someone to retreat. You can't all be buried here. She still has self-knowledge. Although she feels that Shanks should be impossible to do, she can't help but beware. Since she can't fight, she will naturally arrange for some people to evacuate. At least the information here must be passed on. Under everyone's gaze, a group of people appeared on the bow of the Dragonhead battleship of red hair pirates. These people were dressed in strange clothes and looked different. There was no formation at all, but no one dared to look down upon it, them. That is, 4 emperors, red-haired Shanks, on the pirate ship. The other pirates were consciously one step behind. Only one man stood at the forefront. Anyone with sharp eyes could see clearly. This is a man in his 30s with his signature red hair, which is better than normal. Slightly high, with 3 scars on the corner of his left eye, the empty sleeve of his left arm is fluttering in the wind, and a western knife is pinned to his waist. Although none of the people present had seen Shanks, at this moment, everyone was involuntarily affirmed that this man was one of the legendary 4 emperors, known as the most hockey man on the sea, with red hair and Shanks. Everyone, it doesn't seem good for you to be so noisy on my sight? When everyone was frightened by Shanks' aura, Shanks suddenly opened his mouth and asked both parties. As the 4 emperors, Shanks has the least territory among the 4 emperors, but it happens that this sea area is covered by him. But this territory is only divided by the pirates themselves, and of course it will not be recognized by other parties. But now Shanks is using this excuse to attack. Even Zhuan Yuan and others have no way to refute. The situation is weaker than people, and refutation is useless. Marine. What do you say? Shanks' gaze fell on Marine's warship first, and asked leisurely. There are not many people in Marine who can be seen by him, not to mention this is his site. All of them are there. Even if Marine Admiral came, and he couldn't help but be threatened by him instead. As the main general in Marine, Zhuan Yuan walked out and said, First am Marine Vice Admiral Zhuan Yuan. This time we are hunting pirates and inadvertently broke into your territory. Please forgive me. We will catch them. I will leave immediately. Pirate? Shanks had a weird expression, then pointed to himself, and said, I am also a pirate. Do you even want to catch me? Ha ha ha. As soon as this was said, the entire red hair pirate laughed, and the laughter was full of disdain and contempt. Zhuan Yuan's face suddenly turned dark. Shanks didn't look at them at all, but she didn't dare to say anything. After all, they are not as strong as red hair pirates now, and they are not as strong as them, so they are definitely not suitable for hands-on. Shanks said, I really don't have any good feelings for Marine. You broke into my site and arrested people. What do you think I should do with you? Boss. Do you need to talk about it? Of course it is to kill them. The pirates of red hair pirates shouted loudly. Kill them. Kill Marine. Hey, do you guys have humanity? Didn't you see that people on the warships are all women? Killing a group of women, you people are really inhuman. Because it was led by Vice Admiral of Zhuanyuan, most of the people on the warship were female soldiers, which also became the reason for the pirates to make fun of them. Shanks chuckled. He didn't laugh like the others, but looked at Zhuan Yuan and others on the warship indifferently. I give you a choice, leave here immediately, I can let you go. Vice Admiral. What shall we do? Hearing Shanks' words, all the soldiers on the warship looked at Zhuan Yuan, waiting for her order. Zhuan Yuan glanced at the location of the Pirates of Spades, then looked at the people at Red Hair Pirates, hesitated, and then ordered, everyone, retreat. We retreat so easily. The others immediately executed the order, but Lasana asked Zhuan Yuan hesitantly. Zhuan Yuan sighed and said, Lasana, we are not the opponents of the 4 emperors red-haired Shanks, not to mention that this is their territory. We are not as strong as them, and we don't have support. It is not suitable to fight against them, I think it is too. Shanks is unwilling to tear up our face with Marine, otherwise it would not be possible to let us off easily. Can. Lasana was still very unwilling. After all, Ishin wanted to get rid of the pirate, but now she was forced to retreat by the pirate. Naturally she felt very uncomfortable. Zhuan Yuan persuaded. Lasana, we represent not only individuals, but also so many people. We can't harm everyone because of wrong decisions. If we come to Japan, all we have to do is to become stronger. Lasana was just not reconciled, but she was also a smart person, and naturally knew that Zhuan Yuan's decision was the wisest. Seeing Shanks force Marine back with a single word, the pirates of Spades were all dumbfounded. Is this the 4 emperors of the pirate? Marine was forced to retreat in one word. It is really too majestic. New World Pirate 4 Emperors, this is the most powerful pirate besides One Piece. I only heard about it before, but now I finally saw it. It's really not as famous as meeting. When will we be as good as them? Listening to everyone's discussion, Ace was also full of shock. He had seen these Marines' powers. It was just a snow girl who pushed their pirate group to a desperate situation, not to mention that the snow girl was not the most powerful. But even with such strength, he didn't even have the courage to fight Shanks, and he was easily drunk. Shanks didn't care when he saw Marine retreating. Instead, his crew members asked, "Boss, just let those Marines leave like this." Shanks waved his hand and said, "It's just a group of female soldiers. If they really move them, Marine, won't you fight us hard?" Marine female soldiers are definitely the rarest among Marines. If they do move this group of Marines, Naval Headquarters will definitely fight them like crazy. After all, these female soldiers have a lot of weight in the headquarters, many of them are it has a not weak background. Beckman opened the mouth and said, "Shanks, the female soldier on that warship is more famous in New World recently, especially one of them named Snowgirl. She has Logia snow fruit ability, and I heard that she is also Marine Admiral. Disciple of Akainu, don't you want to seek revenge from Akainu?" Shanks laughed loudly and said, "I do have hatred with Akainu, but if I vent this hatred on a woman, this is not my style. I will have the opportunity to confront Akainu in the future, but it is not the time yet." He naturally knows the relationship between the Snow Girl on this warship and Akainu. After all, Lasana has made such a big noise during this time. With her heart, she can basically investigate her details. But now, I am more interested in them, the super newcomer in the pirate world, Portgas Diaz. With that, Shanks' gaze suddenly turned to the Pirates of Spades, on the pirate ship where Ace and others were. "You said Lasana and Juyuan met the Pirates of Spades in New World, and they were forced back by the Red Hair?" When Akainu received the information from New World Claude, he was very surprised. The Ghost Spider said, "Well, that's what Claude said. When Zhuan Yuan and Lasana were pursuing the Pirates of Spades, they entered the Red Hair Pirates' sphere of influence, and unfortunately they also encountered the Red Hair. Shanks, but the Red Hair didn't do anything to them, just told them to leave immediately." Akainu said, "Unexpectedly, I didn't find Huo Fist after waiting for so long, and Lasana actually met this girl. Don't think that the Pirate Four Emperors really didn't dare to move Marine. From the fact that Whitebeard dared to lead people to sink the Marine branch base directly, it can be seen that the Pirate Four Emperors didn't care about Marine at all. There is not enough interest, there is no purpose. As long as there is interest in goal, the Pirate Four Emperors will never hesitate, and will directly engage with Marine. Even he has to sigh with Ace's luck. He is indeed a person with good luck. Every time he is able to turn a good fortune. If he didn't happen to meet Red Hair Pirates this time, I'm afraid the Pirates of Spades really may be swept away." Akainu said to the Ghost Spider, and then took the people to New World. "It seems that Ace should go to visit the Red Hair." Akainu glanced at him and said, "I'm planning ahead. If Sengoku didn't trust me, do you think I would do it? If I could be the heir safely, I would do it." Claude brought Akainu to the chamber, and the others were called back, leaving only the two of them. "That guy Polucerino has no enthusiasm. Let him lead Marine, and he doesn't know what it will be like. Kuzan, he said that it is soft-hearted when it sounds good, and it is stubborn when it is awkward, and he is not a man. Good stubborn. But they are better than you in one thing, that is, they are more obedient than you." He was waiting for Firefist Ace in the Marine branch, but Ace had already entered the New World. He was not in a hurry to chase after them, but sent people to investigate their intelligence, but he did not expect that the first person to meet Ace and them would be Lasana and others. It was beyond his expectation. Claude said, "The G1 branch has been completely taken by us. New World's Marine clearly belongs to Naval Headquarters, but as long as you give an order, I guarantee that everyone will obey your order. It is relatively convenient for Akainu to enter the New World from the Fishmen Island under the sea. He still went to the G5 branch. So unfortunate." Akainu snorted disdainfully, but I have to admit that Claude is really telling the truth. Aokiji and Kizaru are more obedient than him. If he is Sengoku, he is definitely willing to use the obedient Aokiji and Kizaru instead of using the obedient Aokiji and Kizaru. It's not that he boasted, but it's the fact that New World is no better than the first half of the Grand Line. Not only does it have to be strong, but also smart enough, that is, Claude, who has been in New World for so many years. Only when the Pirate Four Emperors dominates the New World can still develop steadily. If you change to another person, I am afraid you will die a few times long ago. At the beginning, he pulled the G1 branch chief to Akainu's camp, but now, he has control of the entire G1 branch. These two situations are different. Claude smiled and said, "If others are so mad, I would definitely be very disdainful, but if you say, I will definitely support you, you don't need to put a conqueror's hockey, you don't need to focus on cultivating Kuzan and Peluzolino. Not a wise choice. You'd better keep a low profile. Doberman told me that many people in this department have complained about you. If it weren't for Sengoku to see you have been rooted in New World for many years, and you have made a lot of credit, I'm afraid your position, it's about to move." Claude was very surprised when he saw Akainu, because he was about the same age as Akainu, but now he actually looks 7 or 8 years older than Akainu, which makes him really unacceptable. Okay. Stop blowing. Lasana and the others have been here before, are they still there? Akainu asked. Claude said indifferently, it's not that I'm blowing it. If Marshal Sengoku sends someone else, apart from the 3 of you, Admiral, everyone else will definitely not be as good as me. The Marine branch of New World can't be done by everyone. Sit down. The management here is very good. Claude laughed and said, it's okay, but I have to thank you for your support. After Akainu entered the G5 branch base, he glanced around in surprise. Compared with the last time he left, Akainu has expanded a lot, and the various buildings are also more complete. You can see that they have been carefully arranged. Seeing Claude winking his eyes, Akainu knew what he meant. A lot of the funds he found were placed in Claude, so Claude would have spare time to arrange carefully. Akainu nodded and said, good job. Sakazuki, you are here, you haven't seen you in a few years, you haven't changed much? Claude said, it's really unfortunate that they left me just a few days before you came. It is said that the headquarter ordered them to return to Marineford immediately. Claude sighed. Sakazuki, to be honest, it's you. If I change to another person, I will definitely not do such a violent thing. If Marshal Sengoku knew about it, those of us would not end well. This is not the first time Akainu has heard such words. After all, he has eaten the ginseng fruit redeemed from the system. If there is no effect at all, how can he be worthy of its value? Akainu warned that he did not lie on this point, but Doberman had told him to warn Claude not to be too public. Humph. But I understand, now that his vital interests are affected, he certainly cannot compromise. If he compromises, he will not only be sorry for himself, but also for those who have always supported him and followed him. He has struggled for so long, isn't it, in order to be able to master the entire marine? We are now getting closer and closer to this goal. Although it is normal to form cliques, Akainu has cultivated power under Sengoku's nose, and even eroded the major branches of marine. To put it bluntly, this has never happened in marine's history, so Crow Dakai said that this is an unruly thing. Akainu was depressed. He thought he would be able to see Lasana when he came to New World. After all, he hadn't seen him for many years, but he didn't expect to miss it again, but he didn't care. Although Lasana is his disciple, he is also a soldier. The soldier's priority is to obey orders and cannot disobey orders just to see him. I'll go to New World first. Hey, Sakazuki, speaking of you coming to New World this time to hunt down the new pirate, why have you never mentioned him once? Don't you want to know where he is now? Claude looked at Akainu and asked puzzledly. Able to escape from your hands, really or not? Ace is now strong, but he can't threaten him. It is impossible to threaten him even within a few years, unless he can grow to the level of Pirate 4 Emperors, but there are only 4 Pirate 4 Emperors in total. Can he? It is still unknown to reach that level. It wasn't until a few months later that he finally got news from Ace again, because Ace actually challenged Whitebeard. Akainu said, yes, this matter is more complicated, so I won't say much, but Sengoku asked me to get rid of him about this Fire Fist, but he did have some luck. He escaped from me once before. Now he encountered Red Hair at a time of crisis again, and he should not have died. Oh? Captain Sachi, what you said is true. Is the rookie really that powerful? Someone asked suspiciously. I heard that this Fire Fist has some abilities. It not only defeated many big pirates, but also escaped from Marine Admiral Akainu's men. Gum la la la. New World is not our territory. It is not easy for you to do this step. This shows that the intelligence personnel we secretly developed before are still qualified, but they are far behind the CP organization of the world government. Claude, who wanted to ask again, saw that Akainu didn't mean to say any more, so he shut up. Akainu is different from Sengoku. Sengoku is afraid of the blood in Ace, but he doesn't care at all. He never believes in the power of blood. In his opinion, the key to whether a person is strong or not depends on himself. Talent is a part of it and hard work. Part of it, and part of it depends on luck. Suddenly someone came up with rumors about Fire Fist, and also mentioned Marine Admiral Akainu, which made the faces of the pirates of the Whitebeard pirates change. For Akainu, none of the elders of the Whitebeard pirates unfamiliar, it can be said that Akainu is definitely the Marine Admiral they most hate and want to kill the pirates. Father, I didn't expect that someone would dare to challenge you. This super newcomer is really brave enough. Upon hearing this, Claude suddenly showed a look of surprise, and asked, that super rookie pirate is the son of the pirate king Roger. Roger has a son? Because you said before that you want to catch Huo Fist, so I have been sending people to stare at them, but the person who sent out was killed by red hair pirates. I dare not send people to stare at red hair pirates anymore, so about the whereabouts of the Fire Fist broke again. The newcomers nowadays are really getting more and more arrogant. They think that if they have some ability, they will be invincible in the world. If he is so powerful, he wouldn't have offered a reward of more than 300 million Baileys, and Lasana said before that she can beat each other if she is 1-to-1. Whitebeard's signature laugh came from the huge battleship Mobile. Akainu said, "It is naturally impossible for him to escape from my hand alone. Someone saved him. It was Garp Vice Admiral." "Okay, don't ask more." The 4th Division Captain Saki said, "It shouldn't be wrong. Although the guy Akainu, damn it, he still has to admit his strength. He has never been soft on the pirates. This rookie can escape from his men, for sure. Somewhat capable." Even if he was as confident as Claude, when facing red hair pirates, he didn't have any confidence. After his people were discovered, he didn't dare to send people to stare at him. The captain of the 3rd Division, Joz, laughed and said, "At any rate, you are a Logia Mera Mera fruit capable person. If you don't have the ability, you can't dare to challenge your father. Father, what do you think about this Fire Fist? Let us settle him for you." The rest of the pirates on the Moby Dick were also laughing. They were talking about what just happened. It turned out that just before they received information, the super newcomer in the pirate world, the Fire Fist, actually told their father. Initiated a challenge. Claude was very surprised when he heard that Huo Fist could escape from Akainu's hands. He was very clear about Akainu's strength. He was definitely standing on the top of the sea. Even if he was, he probably won't hold on to Akainu for long. "I didn't expect this Fire Fist to be so powerful." Akainu said, "You don't know about this, because this Fire Fist is not simple. He is the son of the late One Piece Roger. Sengoku is worried that he will become a person like Roger in the future, so he wants to get rid of him impatiently." Over the years, Claude has used the wealth he obtained from Akainu to continuously develop his influence, and the intelligence personnel have naturally developed a lot, but he is not a person in this industry after all, so the harvest is relatively poor, but he is not worried about letting other people knowing, so I can only drag and develop slowly. In the past few years, there have been many powerful newcomers in the pirate world, and many people have challenged Whitebeard with self-righteousness, but no one can actually see Whitebeard because they are still too far away. Akainu replied, "It's just a task from Marshal Sengoku." For the next period of time, he stayed at the G5 branch. As for the pursuit of Ace, he was not in a hurry. He just asked Claude to stare at him. If he finds it, he will move out. If he can't find it, it doesn't matter. The reason why he took this task was to stay away from Sengoku. Sengoku was already very jealous of him. Instead of making trouble under Sengoku's nose, he might as well leave naval headquarters, which would be better. Let Akainu, Marine Admiral, help train soldiers. Only Claude can tell, but Akainu didn't refuse. Instead, he nodded and said, "It's good, it just happens that I also see how your soldiers are." Claude said, "Whatever you want, but you are idle as well. I heard that you have learned a lot from Zephyr Admiral. Please come and help me train soldiers during this time. Since Huaquan's whereabouts have not been found, don't worry, anyway, to me, a Roger bloodline is nothing." Claude smiled and said, "But our Marshal is really overkill. He actually asked you, the magnificent Marine Admiral, to hunt down a newcomer in the pirate world. Besides, I've heard Lasana say that the Fire Fist is almost like hers, just send a Vice Admiral from the headquarter." For the pirates of the Whitebeard pirate group, Ace is just a fledgling kid. Although a little famous, compared with their dad, he doesn't even deserve to carry shoes. Whitebeard said, "I have plans for this kid, so don't think about it anymore." He has investigated Ace's identity, knowing that Ace is the son of One Piece Roger, and also knowing that Marine is chasing Ace, so after knowing that Ace is coming to challenge him, he suddenly had an idea in his mind. The one who knows Whitebeard best in the pirates is Marco. He is also the only person besides Whitebeard who knows the identity of Ace, so he also knows how Whitebeard is going to treat Ace, and he agrees very much. Now let's take a look at the Ace talisman. Not in line with the consistent thinking of their pirate group. Send someone to stare at that kid. Lousy wants to see how good he is. Yes, old man. After all the pirates were gone, and only Whitebeard and Marco were left, Whitebeard whispered to Marco. "Marco, you really have investigated it clearly. That kid is Roger's son?" Marco nodded and said, "It has been investigated clearly, and there will never be a mistake." Whitebeard snorted coldly, and said, "I knew there must be a problem. Sengoku sent the Magma Kid to chase a newcomer. If there is no problem, then there will be ghosts, but I didn't expect Roger's son to be alive and still follow that old fellow Garp has something to do with it." Although Marine and the Pirates of Spades tried their best to conceal everything that happened at the time, Whitebeard still calculated from some clues that this new pirate Fire Fist had an unusual identity, but he never expected that Ace would actually it's Roger's son. Marco gloated and said, "I have a certain understanding of Marine's situation. Sengoku actually had a conflict with Akainu, and that Akainu was actually driven out of naval headquarters by Sengoku to pursue a new pirate." When Whitebeard heard this, he also showed an unexpected look, and said, This is also beyond my expectation. The old guy Sengoku is very smart. How can he exile that magma imp? Marco said, it's estimated that the guy Akainu is too mad, and it's making Sengoku upset. This is only his guess, but Whitebeard responded with a special response. It is very possible that the magma imp has conqueror's haki. He is not a person who is subordinate to others, and has a violent personality. It is not wrong that he contradicts Sengoku. Possible. Even in naval headquarters, the contradiction between Sengoku and Akainu is top secret. Only a few people know it. Naturally, it is impossible for the Whitebeard pirates to know the details. Marco smiled. Marine split is the best for us. Whitebeard said, don't have this kind of thought. The old guy Sengoku is much better than you think. Not to mention that Whitebeard and Marco were whispering and discussing here, and suddenly someone came to Whitebeard and them. Father. Jinbei, what's wrong, something? Whitebeard asked in surprise when he saw this man. The one who came to Whitebeard was one of the 7 warlords of the sea, the captain of the Sun Pirates seaman Jinbei. Jinbei appeared on the mobile, because he is now attached to the Whitebeard pirates' command, and the other pirates respect Whitebeard as well, and respectfully call Whitebeard the daddy. Jinbei, one of the Shichibukai, actually returned to Whitebeard. If this spreads out, it will definitely cause a huge disturbance, but this is the truth. The Fishmen Island belongs to Whitebeard's territory. Whitebeard covers the Fishmen Island, so Jinbei will return to Whitebeard. At the same time, he was also influenced by Whitebeard's charm, and sincerely attached. Jinbei respectfully said, Father, I'm here to say goodbye to you. I have been with you for a while, and it's time to leave. Jinbei is only attached to the Whitebeard pirates, and is not a member of the Whitebeard pirates, so naturally it is impossible to stay on the mobike like other pirates, but only occasionally come to stay on the mobike. Whitebeard asked, oh? Why are you leaving in such a hurry? Jinbei said, there are some things to go back and deal with. Whitebeard nodded and said, okay, then you can go back and come back later. After Jinbei left the Moby Dick, he did not return to the Fishmen Island, but remained in New World. He left the Whitebeard pirate group not because he wanted to return to the Fishmen Island, but because he was going to find Ace alone. Sakazuki, I found the trail of the Pirates of Spades. In the Marine G5 branch, Claude hurriedly found Akainu and said to him. Akainu's eyes lit up and asked, oh. I found them, where are they? Claude laughed and said, you may not believe it, this Firefist doesn't know where the self-confidence came from. He actually gave Whitebeard a battle book, ready to challenge Whitebeard. Challenge Whitebeard, huh? For this answer, Akainu was not surprised at all, because Ace in the anime did just that. Now it seems that there is no change at all, and Ace is still going to challenge Whitebeard. Claude laughed and frowned and asked, Sakazuki, that kid is going to challenge Whitebeard, are you going to chase? Akainu said, of course I want to go. After all, it is a task assigned by Sengoku. How can I give it up halfway? Claude said, the Pirates of Spades is nothing to worry about, but Whitebeard is not easy to deal with. Now his power is greater than before. Even if our G5 branch and G1 branch combined, they are not his opponents. Akainu said faintly, then we will catch the Firefist before he encounters the Firefist. Claude thought for a while and said, well, it's up to you, but you have to think about it clearly. You are now in the layout. If you disrupt the plan because of a Whitebeard, is it appropriate? He is really worried. Although Whitebeard is old, the Whitebeard Pirates is still strong and the largest force in the New World. He is really afraid that Akainu will fight Whitebeard again, and it will be difficult to end it after all. Now Akainu and Sengoku are at odds with each other. Sengoku advocates balance and would not easily agree to a war with the Pirate Four Emperors. Of course, Akainu understood Claude's concern. He said, Claude, don't worry, I still know the priorities. If I don't have enough certainty, I won't tear my face with Whitebeard. I have a sense of measure. Now he is not what he used to be. He just started fighting if he didn't agree with him. He knows how difficult the Whitebeard Pirates is to deal with. He knows better than Claude. What's more, he also points to the Whitebeard Pirates to contribute to his plan. Of course it is impossible to do it in advance. I won't let you go to the old man. If you want to see him, you must beat me first. On an island within the reach of the Whitebeard pirate group, Jinbei said firmly to the young man in front of him. One of the 7 warlords of the seas. Jinbei, I have heard of you, but I did not expect that as 7 warlords of the sea, you were actually a member of the Whitebeard pirates, but you want to stop me from challenging Whitebeard. It depends on whether you have that ability. The young man confronting Jinbei is now the famous super newcomer in New World, Firefist, Ace. He originally entered the Whitebeard pirates' sphere of influence to challenge Whitebeard, but I didn't expect Whitebeard to see him before. This stumbling blocker is also a famous figure in the world, Jinbei, one of the 7 warlords of the sea. Although Ace's goal is One Piece, he set his sights on Whitebeard, the strongest in New World, but it does not mean that he does not understand the major forces of New World. Now in the Sea of Grand Line, the three major forces are naval headquarters, 4 emperors of pirates and 7 warlords of the sea between marine and pirates. Ace shouted. No one can stop me from becoming One Piece. As long as I can defeat Whitebeard, I will be closer to that position. Even you can't stop me. Sakazuki, it's Whitebeard's mobile, what should I do? In fact, Ace's strength is not as strong as imagined, because the two of them are fighting on land, while Jinbei is a Murloc. The strongest Murloc is fighting underwater. Underwater Jinbei is definitely better than Jinbei on land. Double the strength, that is Jinbei's strongest state. Sakazuki, the information I got is the front. This result made them both secretly surprised. Ace was surprised by Jinbei's strength. Even Jinbei is already so strong. Then how strong will Whitebeard be? Jinbei, who is a strong man, naturally knows that, like Whitebeard's current situation, every time he does it will consume energy and physical strength, so he does not want Whitebeard to consume energy, so he comes to stop Ace privately. Jinbei was not worried that Ace could defeat Whitebeard, because he knew it was impossible. Although Ace's reputation was not small, Whitebeard was known as the strongest in the world. No matter how powerful a rookie was, he could not be Whitebeard's opponent. Marco's expression is very surprised, because even if Jinbei's strength is placed in the entire Whitebeard pirates, it is definitely ranked high. Many captains will not be his opponents. I did not expect a super newcomer who has only been famous for a year. It's amazing to be able to fight Jinbei to this level. Whitebeard pondered for a moment, and said, it seems that Marine should have come for that kid, and immediately accelerate so that he can't let that kid fall into Marine's hands. Similarly, on the other side of the island, a huge battleship was approaching. It was Whitebeard's vehicle, the Moby Dick. When the Whitebeard pirates found Marine, Akainu and the others also saw the Moby Dick coming from the other side. The two played for several days and nights, and finally both fell down due to lack of physical strength, and they were tied. As he said, a flame burst out all over his body, and he shouted, since you want to stop me, let me see your strength. Claude said, I hope so. He is not as optimistic as Akainu. Although 7 warlords of the sea are not recognized by the pirates in the marine, it is undeniable that they are all powerful pirates, otherwise they will not be the balance bond between marine and the 4 emperors. Jinbei said in a deep voice, Huoquan, you are a promising newcomer, but if you want to challenge your father at this time, you are not qualified enough, and I will not allow you to disturb your father. His thoughts were good, but it was a pity that Whitebeard was not a fool. Both sides accelerated at the same time, reaching the edge of the island almost at the same time, and then a confrontation was formed immediately. Jinbei also put on a posture, and then the two of them started at the same time. They are on the island, they have been fighting for a few days. I thought they were just newcomers, but I didn't expect that they were really capable of fighting Jinbei to this level. It turned out that he was waiting for Ace to come to the door, but who knew he had obtained the information that Jinbei had actually fought with Ace. After hearing that, he immediately understood Jinbei's thoughts and was very pleased and moved. Not far from the island where Jinbei and Ace fought, a warship was approaching quickly. Although this is also the site of Whitebeard, Akainu didn't care and still led people to come. Suddenly, a pirate hurriedly ran up to Whitebeard and told him. When I saw that it was the Moby Dick, even as Claude, I became nervous. After all, there were not many people who came here. This is the edge of Whitebeard's territory. If there is a fight, yes. They are very disadvantaged. Father, that guy Jinbei was fighting Fire Fist here. This Jinbei, silently, was actually going to stop that kid for you. Marco said to Whitebeard. The reason why he came to stop Ace without Whitebeard's consent was because he didn't want Ace to disturb Whitebeard. Bang, bang. Jinbei was also surprised. He originally only wanted to prevent Ace from challenging Whitebeard. In fact, he didn't think Ace was very strong, but he didn't expect Ace to be so strong, and he was tied. Whitebeard laughed and said, Goo la la la. Jinbei is a filial child, but he doesn't know my purpose, and it is excusable. Jinbei's strength is still very strong, but Ace has also experienced this time in New World, and his strength has improved by leaps and bounds. Akainu thought for a while and said, speed up, go to the island before them, and kill the Fire Fist first. At that time, even if Whitebeard has any ideas, it can't help us, unless he really wants to fight with me. The expressions of Whitebeard and Marco suddenly changed, and Marco asked, Marine warship? Why is there a marine warship here? The physical condition of Whitebeard is something that everyone in the Whitebeard pirates is worried about. The old Whitebeard's injuries continue to erode Whitebeard's body when he was young, making Whitebeard always in need of treatment. Akainu said, well, I know, but this is Whitebeard's territory. We must solve the battle as quickly as possible and then take the people away, otherwise it will not be so easy for us to leave when Whitebeard arrives. Father, found the enemy, it is Marine's warship. No, it's the Marine and Whitebeard pirates. When Ace and Jinbei were in a tie before, and when they fell down at the same time, the rest of the Pirates of Spades were preparing to capture Jinbei, but they were stopped by Ace, but now they found the Marine warship in the Whitebeard pirates. The regiment appeared at the same time, all showing panic. Needless to think about it, the Marine and Whitebeard pirates must have come for Ace, so Masca Deuce immediately shouted to the others, "Hurry up and take Ace away." But at this moment, a figure rushed over at an extremely fast speed, knocking all the pirates into flight, and then grabbed the Fire Fist Ace, who was lifted up. Just before Akainu was about to catch Ace, a blue figure suddenly appeared in front of him and kicked him. Boom. Fists and feet touched, Akainu was forced to stop, and the blue figure was the captain of the Whitebeard pirates, the Phoenix Marco. Although he was beaten back by Akainu, he was also rescued. Fire Fist, Ace. Marco. Akainu looked at Marco, who was blocking him, with a gloomy expression. He just saw the appearance of the Whitebeard pirates, and wanted to use his speed to catch Ace first. In this case, even Whitebeard could not help it, but he did not expect the Whitebeard pirates. The speed of the regiment is no slower than him. Marco is worthy of being a capable person of the flight system, and the speed is faster than him. Oh, Akainu, this is our site, but it's not your Marine site. You want to kill people on our site. Have you asked us? Marco looked at Akainu with a smile, and he was happy when he saw Akainu slumped. Whitebeard's voice sounded, and then Akainu saw Whitebeard approaching with a group of pirates, while Claude also brought a group of Marines to his back. More than 10 years ago, he was not afraid of Whitebeard. What's more, now Whitebeard's body is not as good as before, but his strength is improving every year. If he fights now, he dare not say that he will win Whitebeard, but at least there is also a 50% chance of winning. Whitebeard, as far as I know, this kid is here to challenge you. Why? Do you want to protect him? As for Whitebeard, he was also nervous, because he was already exhausted from fighting Jinbei. Even Jinbei was already so strong, he really didn't know how strong Whitebeard would be. The pirates all laughed disdainfully, mocking Akainu and other Marines. Marco nodded immediately, and then asked people to control the people in the Pirates of Spades, and the people in the Pirates of Spades did not dare to resist. Even Ace could only give in and let Marco and others take them. Control. Father, what bullshit with them, just leave them all and kill a Marine Admiral, which is pretty good. When Akainu confronted Whitebeard, he was still thinking about it. Of course he didn't want to tear his face with Whitebeard at this time, because it didn't do him any good. Firstly, it was Whitebeard's sight, which was not easy to deal with. Secondly, Whitebeard was behind him. The plan plays a very important role. He also wants to start a war on top to achieve himself. Magma Kid, come to Lousie's site, and don't say hello to Lousie, are you courageous? Ace's eyes lit up. This is indeed a good way. Although he still has the mind to challenge Whitebeard at this time, it is a lot lighter, because he knows that he is still far from Whitebeard now, let alone Akainu is right in front of him, so what he wants to do most now is to quickly leave the place of right and wrong. Akainu said coldly, Whitebeard, I'm not here to fight you. The Fire Fist, of the Pirates of Spades is a major criminal of our Marine. Please don't interfere. During the confrontation between the Whitebeard pirates and Marine, the members of the Spades pirates were surrounded by the Whitebeard pirates. They all looked at the two men and horses with horror, knowing that they were in trouble this time. Ends. When he was hesitating, Claude suddenly whispered, Sakazuki, Marshal Sengoku's call. Seeing that even Whitebeard appeared, Akainu knew that it was impossible to catch Ace. After all, the elites of the Whitebeard pirate group were all present, and they had only a few elites, and they could not be Whitebeard's opponents. Whitebeard laughed loudly. Major criminal. I also know that kid, a kid with a bounty of more than 300 million. If you really want to count it, Lousie's bounty is much higher than him, isn't it a more serious criminal? Can you come and catch me? Wait for the meeting machine. Whitebeard shouted, then you can try it. The two released an amazing hockey at the same time. The two hockeys collided, and the faces of the people around them all changed. The pirates of the Whitebeard pirate group showed their weapons, looking like they were fighting at any time, and Marine waited. The same is true for people. Understood, old man. Hearing Claude's words, Akainu was visibly taken aback, then put away his momentum, and took the callworm. But Dias beside him whispered, I think this is an opportunity for us. If Whitebeard and Akainu get into a fight, maybe we can fish in troubled waters and leave here temporarily. Marine is just a bunch of bastards, trash, so you can only bully and bully newcomers. Of course, Akainu wouldn't take these people's words seriously. Looking at the members of the Spades Pirates group who had been surrounded by the Whitebeard pirates and others, cold light flashed in his eyes. Naturally, Akainu couldn't be afraid of Whitebeard, and responded strongly, Whitebeard, as far as your current physical state is, can you still fight? Gum la la la. Ace. What should I do now? Marines Akainu and Whitebeard are here for us. Whitebeard snorted coldly. It's not your turn to tell Lousy what to do. Let Lousy roll. If you don't roll, Lousy will play with you. Ace also has a heavy face. He didn't expect to meet Whitebeard and Akainu at the same time, especially Akainu. He was frightened when he saw it. Although he believed that his strength had grown a lot in the past few months, Akainu gave him his impression as so deep that he doesn't dare to fight Akainu anymore now. Ha ha ha, the old man is right. Marine guys are bullying and fearful of hardship, so they have the ability to catch us? Marshal Sengoku, this is Sakazuki, what instructions do you have? With that said, he took the big pheasant in his hand and turned it around a few times, and then slammed it heavily on the ground. Whitebeard on the opposite side saw Akainu's movements and did not order an attack. Instead, he said to Marco, go and control that kid's people. You can't let Marine take advantage of it. It turns out that just a while ago, Sengoku actually contacted Claude through the phone worm, that is, Naval Headquarters is so advanced in technology that it can still dial the phone worm from such a long distance. The behavior of the Whitebeard pirates was naturally seen by Akainu, but he did not care about it at this time, but patiently communicated with Sengoku. Sakazuki, this is Sengoku. I have received information. I heard that you led someone into Whitebeard's sight? Sengoku's voice came from the phone worm. As the New World Pirate 4 Emperors, Whitebeard's every move naturally affected the hearts of many big people. Naval Headquarters was also monitored by Whitebeard, so after Akainu entered Whitebeard's territory, he was immediately taken by Sengoku. Knowing, he was afraid that Akainu would fight Whitebeard, and as soon as he received the news, he contacted Claude. Akainu said, we received information that Firefist was ready to challenge Whitebeard. In order to hunt him down, we not only entered Whitebeard's territory, we are now confronting Whitebeard, and Firefist has fallen into Whitebeard's hands. What? That kid was caught by Whitebeard. Sengoku on the other side was obviously shocked when he heard Akainu's words, and asked nervously. Akainu said, yes, I'm confronting Whitebeard right now. You made this call at the right time. Whether or not to recapture the Firefist from Whitebeard, you decide. A few months ago, after Sengoku asked Akainu to hunt down Ace, he didn't pay attention all the time. This time he didn't know that Akainu entered Whitebeard's territory to hunt down Ace. He thought Akainu was going to do other things. Seeing that Sengoku hadn't given a response for a long time, Akainu was not in a hurry. With his knowledge of Sengoku, he had already guessed the answer. Sure enough, after tens of seconds of silence, the opposite Sengoku said, Sakazuki, it's not time for us to fight Whitebeard. Since the Fire Fist has fallen into their hands, don't worry about it anymore and retreat immediately. Try not to conflict with Whitebeard. Clear. Akainu had guessed the result a long time ago, so after hearing Sengoku's command, he immediately responded. Then Akainu said to Claude, let everyone board the warship immediately and go back. Claude nodded, and then ordered the people under him. Suddenly, a group of Marines quickly evacuated, including Akainu, without saying a word, just turned and left. Father, Marine has retreated. Are we going to intercept them? Seeing that Akainu turned around and left without saying a word, the pirates of the Whitebeard pirate group were all surprised. They had also dealt with Akainu several times. Naturally, they knew what Akainu was and didn't say a word. Those who say something will retreat, which is not like Akainu's character. Although Whitebeard was also a little surprised, he immediately stopped the pursuit of his men and said, don't worry about them. Suddenly, a team leader couldn't help but said, Father, this is a good opportunity. If Akainu can be solved, it will definitely weaken Marine's arm. Whitebeard shook his head and said, it is not easy to kill that magma imp, and it might be more useful to keep him. He knows how strong Akainu is. He may not be as good as him more than 10 years ago. But now, even if he is as confident as him, without real hands, he cannot be sure how strong Akainu is. If he is desperate, he may be able to get rid of Akainu, but their pirate group must have suffered heavy losses, and he didn't want to do that. As for what he said later, it is naturally a contradiction between Akainu and Sengoku. He thinks that keeping Akainu and letting Akainu go to Sengoku may be a better choice. Akainu retreated very decisively, but before leaving, he glanced back at Whitebeard and thought to himself, Whitebeard, next time we meet, we will make a complete break. More than a year later, thief ha ha ha. There was a deep laughter, and the laughter was filled with emotions such as excitement, and bitterness. Marshal D. Teach looked at the dark fruit in his hand with great excitement, and quickly ate the fruit, even if the taste of the fruit was more unpalatable than anything he had ever eaten, but his face was still full, excited. After eating dark fruit, Teach glanced at Sachi who had fallen into a pool of blood, and said in a cold tone, don't blame me, Sachi, who let you get this fruit. If you don't kill you, I will again. How is it possible to get it, so I can't blame it. It's your fate. Use your fate to achieve me, This is destiny, thief ha ha ha. It turns out that this man is one of the biggest villains in the comic, the great pirate Blackbeard. It's just that now he is not Blackbeard, just Marshall D. There is a rule in the Whitebeard pirate group: who gets devil fruit during the execution of the mission can be assigned by themselves. This time Sachi and Ace acted together. During the action, Sachi got a devil fruit, but he and Ace didn't have much research on devil fruit. They didn't know the specific origin of this devil fruit, so they didn't dare to rashly taking. After all, Saki's current strength is already very strong. If he takes a devil fruit with little effect, he will not get much enhancement, but will have a fatal weakness. Therefore, before he can figure out this devil fruit, it will not be eaten easily. But unfortunately, this fruit is known by someone, and that is Teach. This dark fruit is Teach's life goal. He joined the Whitebeard pirate group that year because the Whitebeard pirate group has the most chance of getting this devil fruit. It's just that he has joined for more than 20 years and still hasn't found dark fruit. He is almost desperate, ready to be older than the Whitebeard pirates. But he never expected that when he was about to give up, dark fruit was actually sent to him, and at the moment he saw dark fruit, the ambition already hidden in his heart exploded. In order to be able to securely obtain this dark fruit, he did not hesitate to sneak into Saki's room alone at night, kill Saki, and seize dark fruit. My time is coming, the whole world, you all wait, thief ha ha ha. Teach knew that he could no longer stay in the Whitebeard pirates by killing Sachi, but he didn't care at all, because he joined the Whitebeard pirates for his own ambitions, and now his ambitions have been realized and he got what he wanted: dark fruit. Staying in the Whitebeard pirates is meaningless. That night, Teach killed Sachi when everyone was not paying attention, and defected from the Whitebeard pirates. Until the next day, the Whitebeard pirates' 2nd and 4th squads discovered that Sachi had been killed. Kill, Marshall D. Teach is missing. Really, that guy Teach killed Sachi? The atmosphere on the mobile was very depressing at this time. The dozens of teams of the Whitebeard pirates gathered together. Everyone looked at Whitebeard and Ace and others beside Whitebeard, but there was no one dare to speak. Ace clenched his fists and said angrily, "There is absolutely nothing wrong with it. We found Saki's body the next day. It has been dead for several hours, and Teach just disappeared during that time. According to the analysis on the spot, Sachi should be killed by a sneak attack by Teach, and the purpose should be for the devil fruit that Sachi got. Because Marshall D. Teach has decided to betray the Whitebeard pirates, naturally he doesn't care about his actions being discovered. He didn't clean up the scene at all, and left immediately after getting dark fruit, so Ace and the others would be so sure. Damn Teach, he killed his companion for a devil fruit." Hearing Ace's narration, all the pirates on the ship roared in anger, and their tone was full of resentment. Even a man as strong as Whitebeard, after getting an affirmative answer, couldn't help shaking his hands, slowly closing his eyes, and leaning back on the chair. "Father." Seeing Whitebeard's appearance, Marco called out nervously. Whitebeard suddenly opened his eyes and said in a deep voice, "The order is passed down. Marshall D. Teach violated the only iron rule on my Whitebeard ship and killed his companion. From now on, he will no longer be a member of the pirate group. And mobilize all manpower to want him. As long as he has information about him, don't act without authorization, report it immediately." Killing the companions on the boat, this touched Whitebeard's bottom line, so he naturally would no longer regard Teach as his own son. When he just closed his eyes, he was recalling everything about Teach. He didn't care about it before. But after thinking about it now, he realized that this Teach was definitely a hidden man. He might have another plan to join his pirate group. "Father, that bastard Teach is a member of our 2nd Division team. As the captain of the 2nd Division team, I have the responsibility to catch him back and pay tribute to Captain Sachi's spirit in the sky," Ace shouted loudly. Among all the pirates in the Whitebeard pirate group, Ace is the most angry one, because Teach is a member of his team. His people killed Sachi. He can't forgive Teach, nor can he forgive himself. He wanted to catch Teach back and used Teach's blood to pay tribute to Sachi's spirit in the sky. "Ace," Whitebeard said in a deep voice, "that bastard Teach is definitely not an accident. We need to discuss this matter again." Since being caught by Whitebeard, Ace has sincerely integrated into the Whitebeard pirates and regards Whitebeard as his dad, but even if he is full of admiration and respect for Whitebeard, he feels that this is his own responsibility, so even if Whitebeard persuaded him, he wouldn't listen. "No, Teach bastard, I want him to pay, I will chase him now." As he said, he turned around and prepared to leave, and Marco and others on the side immediately grabbed Ace. Marco said loudly, "Ace, don't be impulsive. This is not as easy as you think. Since that bastard Teach dared to do this, he must have a certain degree of certainty. You don't know much about him, but he doesn't know much about you. You understand it very well. If you venture to find him, you might suffer." He was doing it for Ace's good, but Ace was already angry at this time and couldn't listen to anyone at all. Ace abruptly shook off the person who was holding him, then jumped into the boat that had been prepared long ago without looking back, and used his own ability to leave. Before leaving, he turned his head and said goodbye to Whitebeard. Daddy, this time you will let me be willful once, no matter what, I will bring back that bastard Teach. After all, he is still young, and he is not as comprehensive as Whitebeard and Marco and others. He feels that he knows Teach very well, and at the same time, he is confident of his own strength. Ace. Seeing Ace moving away quickly, all the pirates of the Whitebeard pirate group shouted loudly, trying to stop but couldn't stop it. Whitebeard didn't stop it either. If he forced it to stop, he would definitely be able to stop Ace, but even if he could stop it once, he could stop it twice, 3 times. He knows Ace's personality very well and knows that he can't stop him, so he can only watch him leave. Father, what do you do next? Ace is too impulsive. Teach is a jerk. I'm worried that Ace will lose out in his hands. Marco asked Whitebeard. Whitebeard sighed faintly, and said, Ace, this kid can't stop it, but you were right. Even I did not expect that there is such an ambitious bastard hidden in the pirates. Teach joined. The pirates have been in the group for more than 20 years, and they are considered to be the most experienced group. These years, they have not competed or snatched them. I thought he was indifferent by nature, but I didn't expect him to do this kind of thing. In his later years, Whitebeard wanted his children to be safe and happy, so he didn't want Ace to risk chasing Teach, because he had a faint premonition in his heart. Marco said, Father, do you really let Ace go alone? I think it's too risky. The bastard Teach killed Sachi for a devil fruit. This shows that the devil fruit must be very precious, the strength is not weak, and he has gained the power of devil fruit. I am afraid it will be difficult for Ace to control him alone. Marshal D. Teach is a rare veteran pirate in the Whitebeard Pirates. The pirates who joined the Whitebeard Pirates at the same time as him are either dead or become the captain, so even if Marco doesn't know him how strong is his true strength, but he really thinks that Ace is difficult to deal with alone. Whitebeard was also worried, so he said, Marco, you let everyone stare at Ace and Teach, and cooperate fully with Ace. As long as you find Teach, report it immediately. There is no way to stop Ace, he can only try his best to help Ace, but thinking of Teach's city, he is not very sure in his heart. Marco immediately replied, I see, old man, don't worry, as long as we find the bastard Teach, we will let him have nowhere to escape. He dared to kill Saki, and he was against our entire pirate group. For them, the enemy is not hateful, the most hated is the traitor. The Whitebeard pirate group has been established for so many years, and there has never been a traitor. Teach's rebellion made the Whitebeard pirate group completely lost. Ace is also for this reason. He didn't want to let Teach go, and Whitebeard knew Ace's thoughts, so he didn't stop it hard. As for Marco and others, unlike Ace, they will not violate Whitebeard's orders, so they can only follow Whitebeard's orders and use the power of the pirate group to hunt down Teach. Whitebeard looked at the direction Ace was leaving, with both worry and expectation in his heart. Ace, Teach's betrayal may be a test for you. It is different from the past. This is a real test. I believe you will not let me down. Even Marco doesn't know that Whitebeard actually has another idea. Let Ace hunt down Teach. It may be full of risks, but after turning his head, it may not be an opportunity. His idea is to train Ace to be as good as Roger. So if Ace stays with him all the time, it's not a good thing. It might be better to let him go out alone than to stay by his side. This is Whitebeard's expectation. While he can expect it, he is also very worried. After all, the enemy Ace faced this time was Teach, a man who even he did not see through. In order to achieve his goal, he did not hesitate to kill for more than 20 years. Companion, such a person is cruel, and I don't know if Ace can handle it. Have it finally started? Naval Headquarters. Akainu looked at the information in his hand, and the light in his eyes became brighter and brighter. He had waited for this day for a long time, and after preparing for so long, it was finally the time he had been waiting for. A traitor has appeared in the Whitebeard Pirates, Blackbeard. I hope you don't let me down, otherwise I will kill you. He has been paying attention to the movement of the Whitebeard Pirates, so after Marshal D. Teach defected, he received the news as soon as possible. The news had silenced him for many years, and finally there were violent fluctuations. My time is coming, I'm ready, how about you? Akainu looked at the sky and said quietly, except for himself, no one knew what he meant. Although the story of One Piece started with Monkey D. Luffy going to sea, in Akainu's view, the real opportunity to change the world was not in Luffy, at least not now. The real change in the world of One Piece was after the Top War. And the key person who caused this to happen was Blackbeard. So he has always sent people to stare at the Whitebeard Pirates. As soon as Blackbeard starts an action, he will also start an action. He immediately dialed Claude's phone. Sakazuki, Claude's voice sounded. Akainu said directly, Claude, is there any whereabouts of Blackbeard? Soon after Marshal D. Teach defected to the Whitebeard pirates, he set up his own business and established the Blackbeard pirates, so Akainu would call him Blackbeard. Claude said. Blackbeard has not been found yet, but not long ago, he seemed to have found a crew member, but this guy was too alert, our people could not keep up with him. But the Fire Fist of the Whitebeard pirates, we have mastered his trail. Seeing his direction of action, Blackbeard may have left New World because he has gone to the first half of the Grand Line. Akainu nodded and said, okay, I see, you continue to send people to stare at the Whitebeard pirates. As for the two people, Blackbeard and Firefist, I will take care of them. Also, remember what I said to you. The era that belongs to us is coming, and you must be prepared. The opposite Claude replied solemnly, everything is ready, just wait for your order. After talking on the phone with Claude, he immediately talked with Ghost Spider and the others, and explained separately. After more than 10 days, a big event that shocked the Grand Line happened. Crocodile, a sand crocodile, one of the 7 warlords of the sea. His conspiracy in Alabasta, the land of the desert, was revealed by a group of new pirates entering the Grand Line, and Crocodile himself was defeated by these newcomers. At the same time, something more sensational happened, but only a few people know it. World Government, Holy Land, Marie Joys. The 5 elders were gathering together, and in front of them was a Marine infantry general kneeling. One of 5 elders asked, you said that the redhead started the action? The kneeling General Marine replied, yes, the red hair has started to move around. Red hair, shouldn't it be possible for him to act himself? The bearded man asked. Yes, Hongfa did not act in person, but sent messengers, but even so, if you really let Hongfa and Whitebeard meet, unforeseen things may happen, so you must be guarded. Marine the general replied. This is correct. Although you must be on guard, Redhead is not a person who changes the pattern for his own sake. So don't act rashly. Keep your eyes on Redhead and Whitebeard and wait for their real contact. I'll talk later. The curly-haired old man in a black suit spoke. Another old man with a bald head and a sword agreed. I agree with this statement. The current priority is Shichibukai. Crocodile has failed. It is necessary to find the successor of Crocodile. After all, the balance between the Pirate 4 Emperors and Marine still needs 7 warlords of the sea. Without them, it will have a direct impact on the world, and their existence is indispensable. General Marine replied. We have already started to call Shichibukai to start an emergency meeting, but the subordinates don't know how many people will come at their orders. The blonde-haired old man said in a deep voice, Shichibukai are all rebellious, and Sengoku is too negligent to manage them. When Shichibukai was established, we hoped that we could have a power that can be controlled. If all of them are like Crocodile, they will treat us. It's not a good thing either. Yes, they must be beaten and beaten. This time I think Akainu should be allowed to go. He has been silent for too long. The old man holding the sword suddenly spoke, and his words suddenly made the other 4 people, including the kneeling General Marine, show an unexpected look. To outsiders, the contradiction between Akainu and Sengoku is a secret, but to 5 elders and others, it is not a secret at all, but this is a matter within Marine. As long as the fundamentals of Marine are not shaken, 5 elders is not at all. They will take care of them, and even they are happy to see Akainu being suppressed by Sengoku. After all, Akainu was not respectful to them back then. Let Akainu go. The bald old man with a sword said, although Akainu is arrogant, he still has the ability. Now it is the time when he is employing people to suppress the pirates. This is the best choice. The other 4 think about it. Although they have some opinions on Akainu, Akainu is indeed the strongest among Marine Admiral, and Akainu is much stronger than the other 2 in dealing with pirates. Also in line with their wishes. Yes, I agree with this decision and let Akainu go. I have no opinion either. Agree. No problem. Soon, the other 4 people also agreed, and this made the kneeling Marine general sweat on his forehead. Because he was a supporter of Sengoku, when he saw 5 elders want to use Akainu, he naturally wanted to refute. But thinking of the strength of 5 elders, he didn't know how to speak. And one more thing. The curly-haired old man suddenly picked up the reward order on the table and said, the rookie pirate who defeated Crocodile, Monkey D. Luffy, must not be let go. This kid seems to be Garp's grandson, but since we have become pirates, we can't just sit back and leave it to Sengoku.